What's up, everybody? My name is Fitz. I am the host of the Let's Argue podcast, personal development and business coach. And tonight we are going to be talking about a lot. We are going to be talking about a lot in particular, and we are going to be talking about Angela Basset getting a fake, I repeat, a fake Oscar. That's right, a fake Oscar. I know there's a lot of people that were getting upset with me about that, about me saying that. I don't know why. But yeah, I consider it a fake Oscar. And I'm going to explain why. But before I get into that, also we're going to be talking about not only Angela Basset, but the recent developments with none other than Jonathan Majors and Katt Williams, right? Now, last week we covered Katt Williams. Here's the thumbnail. We're showing right there. Here's the thumbnail for the night. Fake. Okay, so again, to reiterate, we're going to be talking about Angela Basset, Jonathan Major, Katt Williams. Now, what's going on with Angela Basset? So I'm going to play a video shortly after we bring up Ty, and we're going to be looking at what the controversy is, because I made a video and there's people coming at me. And I just want to clarify my position on this. Okay, here's my position. If you are a competitor at the highest level, the last thing you want is credit for something you did not earn. In other words, if I'm an Olympic racer and I come in second place, I don't want the gold trophy. I don't want the gold medal. I don't want what first place gets. And Angela Basset, who's been acting for over 30 years, never won a real Oscar, was awarded an honorary Oscar. That's right, I'll say that again. She was awarded an honorary Oscar for her lifetime body of work. But my question is this, and she's still acting, by the way. If you're going to give someone an Oscar for their lifetime of work, if you thought they were that great, how come they didn't win an actual Oscar during that 30-year period? Like, think about this. You're saying that this person is so great that you're going to give them an honorary award for their body of work, but you never awarded them for any individual piece of work that you say is so great. Make it make sense. How can your complete body of work be so great, but you were never awarded? It doesn't add up. But people get mad at me, and people have told, just shut up. It's good enough that she got an award. Just shut up. You're being negative. It's not fake. It's a real Oscar. Listen. Think about an ultra competitor. Let's take Kobe Bryant. Do you think that if Kobe Bryant went through the championships, was in the finals, and his team lost, that he would want to accept an honorary NBA championship ring? Do you think Kobe Bryant would want an honorary championship ring? Or an honorary, he done retired already, we gonna give him an honorary MVP for his body of work, but he was never awarded an MVP in real life? If that was the case, he was, but I'm just using it as an example. No competitor wants a participation trophy. But what they're doing is they're trying to get black people on their side again because of how they handled the Chris Rock and Will Smith episode, right? They watched a black man get smacked on camera and did little to nothing about it. They're trying to reel black people back in. And so they know Angela Basset is a controversial topic when it comes to Oscars because she should have won. So they're trying to, look, we gave her one. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Nah, Angela Basset deserves a real Oscar, not a fake one. An honorary one, I consider fake when we're talking about competition. She wasn't competing against any other movie. She wasn't in a movie and then they say, okay, you won this. No, I wouldn't have accepted it. I would not have accepted it. But that's just the competitive nature that I have within me. And so I'm speaking as a competitor. The people in my comment section I think they were speaking as losers. I don't think they've ever competed for anything. Because if you've ever competed for something, what you know is that you actually want to, most people, most competitors, they would rather not have it at all than to get something fake, like to get something that, oh, you didn't win the real thing, but here's this other thing to try to make you feel good. I don't want that. Give me the real thing or give me nothing. So that's my spiel. I'm gonna bring Ty up. He gonna let you know what he does, and we gonna get it. We gonna get it popping. We gonna get it popping. All right, we got Ty in the building.
Yo, yo, yo! What it do, baby? What up to all the hoes? What's up, people? As always, T to the Y. Catch me at _Wolfwagon_ for all your dog training tips. Any dogs, any breed, size, puppies, young adults, old adults, even old dogs can learn new tricks. Yeah, holla at your boy.
Listen, I'm gonna take Ty off the screen real quick, and I'm gonna do a little intro for him. I'm gonna do a little intro. I'm gonna need some more energy. Okay, I'm gonna say it how you should have said it. What up? This _Wolfwagon. I got the best dog training. I don't care who said what. I don't care who you seen on YouTube. Come to me. I'll take great care of your dogs. Listen, that's how we do it.
You ain't gotta tell them you great when you already great.
Hey, yo, he trying to. We talk about marketing. He think he in a Denzel movie.
Gotta tell him you great when you already.
He in a Denzel movie.
Hey, I'm about to be Denzel today. You about to see some acting up.
This man, he ready. This man hype. I could tell.
Been thinking about this for the past couple of days.
He's been thinking. This been heavy on this brother mine. Right? But it's good because what I was doing before is it would be like 15 minutes before the show, and I would just post the topic or I would put up the thumbnail. And so people didn't really have time to understand what we were going to be talking about. And so now I've been putting it up a couple of days before, putting the message out there. So it's good. But if you are watching, make sure you look at the link in the comment section. If you want to come up and give your perspective, all you have to do is click on that link. It's in the comment section. If you're on Facebook, comment section, YouTube, comment section, click it. Like, we're open to debate. We're open to whatever. If you want to come up, share your perspective as the channel. Listen, right? You got us right now. Not a lot of people tuning in. You could be viral in one of these videos when it starts blowing up. So come on up, right? Because when there's thousands of people watching one day and we can't take your call or you can't come up because there's too many people, we don't want to hear it. Yeah, so right? You had your shot. We got time today, right? But some point there's gonna be too many people, and then we gonna have to, you're gonna have to catch us in the comment section or one of them days where we feeling petty and we come off our high horse. So
we up right now. Hey, somebody say you were part of an R&B group with your haircut.
Who said that? I look like I'm part of an R. I look like I'm part of. I'll take it. I don't know if that's a roast or a compliment. I'll take it.
Boys, man, head ass.
Hey, I'll take.
Boys to men. That boy done got a
You
fresh.
are not alone.
Yo, you wildin'. You wildin', boy. What you doing, bro? Did he jump out of the thing?
Nah, I done accidentally
Oh, I
hit
was about to say,
the
yeah,
button.
yo. I thought you had, because you was freezing a little bit.
Some nookie.
You
Hey, nah.
the goat.
They before we get into it, got to give my haircut story. So I betrayed the black community. I betrayed the black community. Listen, I have an event coming up, and I decided to do what I preach against and be a procrastinator, right? I decided to do that. I'm taking accountability. This is on me. I decided to be a procrastinator. So I have an event coming up. I ain't got fresh, cut my hair in a minute. So wanted to look fresh. Last minute haircut. I'm looking around all the, I want to go to a black barber. I want to go to a black barber. I get online. I'm searching because, I had locks, just started really cutting my hair. So I don't really have a dedicated barber yet. So I'm hopping from barbershop to barbershop. But I get online. I'm going to go to a black barber. Looking at Instagrams. Looking at the photos. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to go. And this is no disrespect because I know this is big in that community.
No, it's disrespect.
I'm not trying to go to nobody's house to get my hair cut.
Period. Let's talk about it.
I'm not trying to go. Look,
let's talk about it.
When I was getting my locks done, I'll go to somebody's house to get my locks done. I don't mind. I prefer that because I went to a shop, a dedicated shop, went to get my locks done, and it's too much. They got other clients up in there. They talking all the time. They doing this. You just sitting there. There's people running around with the house. You get that one-on-one dedicated time or whatever. Here's what and it's probably just a bias, but I'm looking like, man, that feeling when everything will probably be okay, but if it's not, you'll be like, I should have recognized that red flag. That's how I be feeling when I'm like, I don't want to go to nobody's house and get this done. Many of them didn't have a website. Many of them, like, you look at the pictures and they weren't very high quality. It was in their house. And so I just look and I'm like, let me just go to a highly rated barbershop here that looks like they could do a fade.
Yes, sir.
I went to one around the corner, and it looked like it was owned by Hispanic people when I got there. In the pictures, there were black people, but when you go and like book it, it doesn't allow you to pick a barber. You just book the appointment and then you show up. I wanted to book it because I didn't want to just do a walk-in and be waiting. So anyways, I get there and I sit down in the chair. There's a Hispanic dude there and I'm telling him what I want. Like, I'm showing him the picture, telling him what I want. He looks at me. He looks at the other barber in the shop. And then he starts speaking in Spanish to the other barber. And then the other barber's telling me to tell him what to tell the barber that's cutting my hair. So I'm telling this guy, like, this is what I want. And then he's communicating with the barber that's cutting my hair. So I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So I'm getting my hair cut, everything. And I'm sitting there nervous in the chair. I'm sitting there thinking, man, if I get a bad haircut, I deserve it because I betrayed the black community by not going to a black barber. That's all I could think about. So I get finished, I'm done, and I like the way that it came out. Here's the only problem that I have, right? And it's not anything major. It's just with me. I get like ingrown hairs. My hair is very curly. So if they cut it too down or whatever, then the hair gets trapped under the skin and you can get like bumps. Well, I think he cut it down too much because it feels very sensitive and inflamed. And so, long story short, I feel like that's punishment for me not going to a black barber and not spending money in the black community. I tried, I procrastinated. That's on me. I'll have to start looking for a black barber now so that when my hair gets long enough, I can go to them. I'm not mad at the haircut though. It came out fresh. I mean, R&B group. I'm not mad at it. I just want to spend money with the black community, and just a little story to get the pod going.
Yeah,
Little story.
I agree. I don't like. I ain't had a haircut in a minute, but I ain't going to nobody's house for no haircut. The only time I'm going to somebody's house is to get braided, and that's a huge if. If I need to see where you live at, I need to see who you are, because I ain't gonna be there, and then you get a surprise visit on some drama, and then I gotta act up, and it ain't gonna be good for anybody.
The low key, some of these barber shops more dangerous than these people's house. I've been in some barber shops where all they homies is like hanging out in the back area, or they playing 2K, and you could smell weed, and they cussing and drinking, and it's like, man, there's kids up in here, and it like you could tell that the barbers and the people working, they're the ones that are like the homies, the friends that have the money and stuff, and this is their entourage, the people that ain't doing nothing with their life really, but they just hanging out, and they're like, hey, let me come by the shop. Let's see what we're doing. So, yeah. But I mean, I like it. When I had locks and I would go to the lady's house, we'd be watching Netflix. We'd be watching movies. Like she'd throw a movie on and stuff. We'd be sitting there talking about it, things like that. So, pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Entourage is a barber. That's crazy, bro. I grew up where you had to go and sit. You ain't called to make no appointment. None of that. You had to go in there and sit in line.
Yeah, that's what I did too. And then I had locks for a couple of years, and then I mean, you could still go in and do the walk-in, but I think it might have been just a technology thing growing up because they really didn't have it. But now I think it makes more sense because if you can book it and you can get those lined up, you don't have to wait for the walk-ins. You can just get them lined up, kind of like the movies. I like the movies better now too, where you can go and choose your seat beforehand and stuff like that, instead of, you get there and you looking around, and it's an evolution, brother.
I mean, it's preference for sure. Because I don't had too many bad experiences with a booking app, and I done went to a braider and a barber and had to wait an hour extra because somebody was in their seat. And it's like, if you knew you was gonna be late or you knew you was gonna be behind, say that. Don't waste my time. That's why I don't even fool anybody now going to get a haircut or a lineup, even getting braids is a process. Because if you got a booking app in your bio on Instagram, I'm not booking with you, bro. Give me another way to contact you, because you don't even be reading those things. You just accept it and move on. I don't like that. People be doing bad business, and I'm tired of it. They be thinking,
and that's how they don't get repeat business, and then they online talking about black people don't do business with other black people.
It's like, bro, just have decency to make like black people need to stop being so ignorant and learn the business side of having nonprofit, having the side of a business. You need to educate yourself more and stop just doing the bare minimum. I get it. For the first year, you running it out your house. Cool. Next year, I'm gonna look for a spot to put my stuff in. That way I look a bit more official. Like, come on, bro. Y'all gotta stop being lazy and stop thinking that people need to cater to you. You giving people a service, and you need to respect people.
They black, that's enough.
I don't give a damn if they black. Just because they black don't mean it's for the people.
Hey. He don't win.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care about
it. Let's get Angela Basset before we got on the topic.
Hey, it's gonna turn it. Hey, it connects with that.
Let's get into it. So Angela Basset, I don't know if you heard my intro about her getting a fake Oscar, and I'll say it until my R&B tongue falls out. A fake Oscar. She got a fake Oscar, an honorary Oscar. I mean, what do you think about that? Like, when you just hear that someone as talented as her got an honorary Oscar, what comes to mind?
I think you bleep out stuff. Say the C
I
word.
mean, I don't go back and bleep it out. If it can be, if it can be bleeped out by not being said or said in a different way, that'd be better.
Okay, I got you. Let me think about it for a second. She's an Uncle Ruckus, is what I think.
Who? Angela Basset?
Yes, 100%. I was gonna say the C word, and you know what I'm talking about, but it's okay. That's the next best thing that I got in my head. I
Why do you
think
think
that
that? What she ever do?
because she knew that she deserved more, and she knew that her resume is a lot longer and a lot better than other people, and she got up on that stage and accept that stupid award, fake award, honorary. Like, bro, are you kidding me? I'm the GOAT. If I'm the GOAT, you think I'm finna walk up on stage and get a fake award?
I was thinking I'm not gonna put that on her though. Hear me out.
I am. Because she
I
had a choice.
I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. Here's my pushback to that though. Okay. That's your masculine energy. Because I was thinking the same thing. That I think that that's your masculine energy. Because if she would have gotten up on stage and pressed it and things like that, I don't think she would have been the Angela Basset that we love so much. The Angela, like the one that carries herself in a feminine way, the one that we say deserves all this grace and stuff. If she would have got up there and been like, man, this fake award, y'all did me wrong, blah, 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 blah. How does she win? Because then, I mean, all she's doing is making it harder for her to get opportunities in the future. I guess what would you like for her to say in that situation?
Hell no. I want her to be disrespectful. See, listen, I don't think it to an extent it's masculine energy, but I would have respected her more by her disrespecting them in a professional way, of letting them know that this was BS.
What would that look like? Like you're good with words. You're a wordsmith.
Man,
you're Tyree Bassett.
You know what?
You're Tyree Bassett.
I'm gonna get on the stage and be like, "Hey, I just want to thank my family, thank the creator, thank all the people around me that supported me and helped me get to this point. This should be a real award, not no honorary award, but we gonna let it slide right now. This is for the people that helped me, for all their hard work. But y'all know my resume is legit. Y'all know that. And y'all trying to disrespect me with this? Okay. I see what it is.
Let me give mine. Mine got a little more pettiness to it. Okay, here we go. If I was Angela Basset and I was accepting that speech, me, Fitz, Petty Fitz, would have got up from my seat, walked up there, and I would have said, I'd like to give an honorary thank you to the Academy for giving me this award. I would have given an honorary thank you and walked off. That's the best I would have been able to do on the spot. An honorary thank you. I'd like to give you an honorary thank you. And that would have made news lines.
You better than me because I ain't doing that. Ain't doing it. And
what you doing?
Hey, thankful to the people that was with me, that helped me get there. I'm showing them love, showing them things, putting them on putting a spotlight on them. I ain't saying thank you. I ain't saying thank you to none of them. I don't care who voted. I don't care about none of it. Don't give me
they don't really vote from what I understand on that.
Man, listen, bro. To the camera right here. Black people, you have got to stop catering to the white population. Those awards are mainly ran by white people. And you guys continue to get on your knees and please these folks. And you wonder why they have no respect for us as a people. You wonder why they look at you like, oh, they can get a participation trophy. That's like getting second place and celebrating second place. I ain't coming first. What do you mean? Y'all have got to stop sacrificing your morals and values for $1 and for these weak ass trophies. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of it. Y'all have got to tighten up. She shouldn't have not got on that stage and accept that award. I don't care what opportunities may have been passed up on. She got money, right? So I wouldn't even trip about that. She can get more opportunities and create opportunities for herself. She ain't got to keep waiting on people to give her stuff. So, but hey, Uncle Ruckus to me, man, pleasing the white folks. Let them keep disrespecting you. My life's work, and you can give me an honorary award? Yeah, that's dead. And to the buddy that said, to buddy that was in the comments talking about being humble, this is the thing. Black people don't need to be humble. If we good at what we do and it makes you uncomfortable, you need to figure out something for yourself and figure out how you can be good at something. You worried about too many of the wrong things with us. Too many of them. Talking about being humble? Humble? That's a coward way to approaching life. Get out of here with that. I ain't being humble.
I'm gonna show, for those of you just tuning in, we're talking about Angela Basset getting a fake honorary Oscar instead of the real one, which she deserves. I'm gonna share this video that I did earlier in the week where people are saying that she should just be grateful and that I'm being negative. Me. Okay, here we go.
Grateful.
A fake Oscar. That's right. She won an honorary Oscar after 30 plus years of acting, never won an Oscar, and they give her this fake ass honorary Oscar. Disrespectful to someone's career. You spent all this time, all this energy, your life work is in acting, and they don't even give you a real Oscar, like the highest accolade that you can get as an actress, and they don't give you that. They give you the fake version. What are you going to do with that? That's a disgrace to your body of work. I wouldn't have accepted it. I had to sat my ass right there in that seat, the same place I sat when they was calling the real Oscar winners' names all these other years, and I didn't get up. They would have said, I'd have stayed my ass there like, Fitz, I ain't going up there. I ain't going up there. Give me the real thing.
They're on business.
On business.
Crazy.
So that's what I had to say. I made the video, and I think that video is just under 3,000 views. I think it has around 2,500. And I posted it on Instagram too. And then I commented on Shade Room. They made a post about it, and they didn't even say that it was an honorary. They just said Angela Basset won an Oscar. And it's like, are y'all part of the white power structure?
Gotta
you
be.
not gonna put that as honorary?
Gotta be, bro. Gotta be.
You really gonna do her like that? You go, oh, she won an Oscar.
Bro,
That's like. Go ahead.
They keep pooing on black women. Black men always say we need to protect black women. We need to protect black women. I ain't seen nobody comment on this situation that was a black man saying that she deserved more. Everybody was supporting her. Oh, that's so great. That's not great. Y'all let these folks disrespect a black queen that y'all call queens in the community. Y'all let them disrespect her by doing that. That's disrespectful. And y'all ain't gonna say that. Y'all just gonna sit there like, well, at least she got an honorary. No. It's a disgrace to the black community. It's a disgrace to black women. And it's a disgrace to women in general, because they are continuing to get crapped on by these people just to have an opportunity to make some dollars. I don't know about you, but I'm not sacrificing who I am, what I stand for any of that. And black people got to stop doing that too. They have got to start not sacrificing themselves for better opportunities. I'd rather stay with my people, by my people, spend money in my community than to do some stupid stuff like that.
This is the post right here. Shade Room. Woo! Woo! Angela Basset accepts her Oscar award with an uplifting acceptance speech. Now I want you to look what I posted right here. It's an honorary. Stop the cap. She deserved a real Oscar. Let's see what these people saying.
Oh, they commented to you?
Yeah. Someone said it's been long overdue. Oh no, they was. I think they were agreeing with me.
Oh, still long overdue.
It's been so. Someone said I don't know which order. I think it's from the top to the bottom, but
Uh,
I say because someone was like, oh, they said I hear you. No, the honorary Oscar isn't new. It's been given to people since 1929. It celebrates their entire body of work. She definitely deserves a competitive Oscar too, though. So what are we talking about? That's all I was saying. But you want to come in and protect them and make it seem like you on my side. I said, I understand that. I think it's spitting in her face to give an honorary, but she don't have a real one. I can see if she already has a real one, but I don't like the optics. And my gut tells me this is a publicity stunt.
yeah.
So it's like people don't understand how powerful media is. They think that this is just Angela Basset getting her award. This is to get Black people on their side again, right? This is for that. This is so that they can have that headline saying that she has an Oscar. Because there's going to be people that read this and think she won a real Oscar. It don't even say honorary. Like J. Cole said, what he say? The men controlling the pen that write history, they always seem to white out their sins.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, she did not win an Oscar. She won an honorary Oscar. Let's be real.
They continue to do it. I saw another one in this is part of the other community I'm a part of, but there's a Native American lady that just won. I think it was Golden Globes or something like that. First one, Lily Gladstone, and I sat there and thought, damn, you had to portray the genocide of your people in a movie to win an award. Not to say it wasn't a good movie. It was Killers of the Flower Moon, which I think was a great movie, but for other people's entertainment. And they gave you an award. You had to show genocide of your people. Why do we have to keep highlighting the struggles that we have faced to exist and to have representation in movies, music, TV shows, whatever, to be a part of the conversation? Why do we have to keep laying down just to get ahead? It makes no sense. And it's
So
the
you wouldn't play
community.
like that?
Huh?
Would you play you're an
No.
actor
Nope.
and they offer you some money. You wouldn't play in a movie like
Nope.
talking about a certain story that happened in your community?
I think and this goes back to the other live we did where I said I think we need to keep things sacred. Now, this is a well-known, it's not a well-known story, but it's a story that is known not only within the community, but outside the communities as well to other people. And I think that some things shouldn't be revived for people to understand them. It is not our job to educate people on certain things. And I'm tired of shining the light only on the negatives about us and not the positives. We weren't just people who laid over and just got killed and slaughtered and murdered. That like that was a small part of history, and that was at the very end. But they're not going to talk about the warriors that we've been. They're going to talk about how much we created and how much of innovators we were. Everything that we have now is because of our ancestors.
When you say they, who are you talking about?
The masses. Who it could be white, black, same color. It could be anybody. But majority of what I know is going to be geared towards the people in charge, and most of them, majority are white, European, uncooked bacon skin. But it's not for me. It's not. They keep giving us these awards for some symbolic type of victory, and it's like we not winning. You gotta, and I'm not taking anything from her, either one, Angela or Lily, but you won an award, but your people still struggling. Your people are still dying. Your people are still being held as hostages, mentally, physically, and emotionally. This ain't no winning for us.
So do you think that we put too much value on that? Meaning, okay, these are celebrities. Let's keep it real. These are celebrities,
Right.
actors and actresses,
Right.
and this is a marketing tool to bring attention to movies and entertainment and motion pictures, right? Whoever told us to put that on them? That's my question, is like, what makes Angela Bassett the ambassador for fighting for black people versus Todd the plumber?
Right.
Like when he when he goes out and he's fixing somebody's sink, it's not like, okay, he's a great plumber, he made $100,000 this year, but his people still struggling. You
Right.
know, like, why do we hold them to a different standard when
When
they're
I
just doing their job? At the end of the day, it just happens to be televised.
Well, when I speak into the community. I'm not speaking strictly towards the celebrities because they're gonna do what they want to do, and if they don't support, they don't support. If they do, they do. I'm talking more towards the community people because they keep putting these people at the center of their lives, saying that Angela Bassett's gonna get us out of poverty. She's doing stuff for black people. She's a symbol of representation and all these things. And it's like y'all put so much emphasis on that, and you shouldn't. But y'all shouldn't also let black people just get stepped on as well, celebrities or not. We should uplift both, not only the plumber but the celebrity as well. We should expect. I think we should have certain standards for both, not just for one or the other. But I don't really get into the celebrity thing, and um, you know, caution note for people: I don't hate white people. I don't hate anybody. I'm just speaking on facts of us continuing to be depicted as the victims. I'm not a victim. My ancestors were not victims. Naive, yes, but victims, hell no. And I'm tired of them painting that picture. But I think the communities that have just seen the representation, they're like, yeah, they're a spokesperson for us.
So when I see this, it makes me think of um it's tricky because what we're seeing with Angela Bassett is a symptom of a much larger system. And oftentimes, like when I see her go up there and give her speech or whatever and accept it, I see that as no differently than, you work a job and you get a little raise. I mean, you may not raise hell about it because you're trying to play the game. That's how a lot of these celebrities are too. Like they're trying to play the game. They're working a job. And at the end of the day, they've spent time, energy, and I would argue they've sacrificed a large part of themselves to get in that position. I think most of them are dealing with the what's it called? It's like it's a fallacy where you already put so much into something that you feel like if you stop now, you will have lost everything before that point. So this is the reason why people will continue paying money for something, even though they know that it's probably not going to work out in the future because they've already spent so much now. This is why people are working at a job that they hate because they've been working there for 5 years. And if they work there for 5 more years, they get some extra benefit and they don't want to feel like that 5 years was a waste. They put more weight on the past than what their future could be. And when I see stories like this, like Angela Basset and other things that happen in Hollywood and the entertainment industry in general, it makes me think back to what Katt Williams was talking about and alluding to, where, behind closed doors, we don't really know what's going on. There's all of these other things that we're not really privy to. And I just think sometimes we get a glimpse of it, but there's so much going on a different level that I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just marketing. This is just, like I said, I think it's just a ploy to get black people back on their side, especially before the election.
Of course. course, and that's
Right.
a lot of people miss what Katt Williams was saying because they're so used to people being fake in their lives. We have made being you're not being your authentic self has been a trend, and we have made it cool for people to be somebody that they're not. And when somebody comes out like Katt Williams is in what the term that they use nowadays is stand on business, people get in their feelings. Oh, he shouldn't have said that. He shouldn't have done this. He should. Why? The way I grew up was you called out fake people. You called out the fake BS. You don't let none of that come in your circle or be around you. Why would you want that type of energy around you? That don't make sense to me. So a lot of people miss his points because they were too busy gossiping and keying and la 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 over the things he was saying rather than understanding the message behind it. Oh, he said fat Faison liar. Well, Faison has been fat for pretty much most of his life, right? He's got it even bigger. Cedric, same way. He called him a
A
walrus,
walrus.
a walrus. Called Stevie Harvey and Mr. Potato Head. None of those were lies, and you could look them up. But he also called them out for doing bad business, but being such a pillar in the black community and shining that light on them and say, hey, they've been doing this negative stuff for a while. Him calling out Steve Harvey for crying when Bernie Mac died, but try to double back on Bernie Mac. Come on, bro. I'm glad he said those things. People have got to learn how to be 100% real and authentic rather than faking their entire lives, bro. And it's mainly the black community. One minute they, oh, I would never do that. Next minute they in a dress.
You said they're in the dress.
Yep.
So I want to highlight something here.
That goes for all people, not just these celebrities, the communities too. Black people, y'all got to get right. What's this? The voting thing for the?
No, this is this is a stat that says most Black adults see voting as an extremely or very effective strategy for helping Black people move toward equality, but fewer than half say the same thing about protesting. Black Democrats and Democrat-leaning independents are more likely than Black Republicans and Republican leaners to say voting is an extremely or very effective tactic for Black progress. This is, I mean, this is crazy to me because it's like, I don't see anything on here about, you know, accountability or like group economic, like I said, support Black owned businesses. But just because you're supporting a Black owned business doesn't mean that you're like that's going to uplift the community. There has to be organization. And then it's like, how, going back to, you know, what we're talking about with Angela Basset, right? Angela Basset is a symptom of a larger system. When I look at this and I see that voting is like at the top of the list for things that are going to help Black people, it's very discouraging because most of the issues that Black people have, we could solve without voting. And then it's like, why would you want the government in the issue anyways? Like, I'm going to give, like, when I was growing up, right, I have a lot of siblings. I remember that my parents would say, like, there's an issue going on between me and one of my brothers and sisters. They say, you guys need to figure that out. Mm-hmm. And I didn't understand it. Like, I didn't understand. Why can't you just say who's right and who's wrong and you solve it? I didn't understand it. Now I understand a little more clearly because it's like, they would say, well, if I have to understand it, then you may not like what I do because I wasn't there. So I may come to a conclusion that you don't like. But if you guys solve it amongst yourself and never bring it to me, then it's probably going to be a more favorable outcome for you because if I have to get involved, you're not going to like it. And that's how I see the government and stuff like that. It's like the issues that we have in the Black community, we can come together as a community and fix them. We want the government in our business involved in it And it's the same government we say that we don't trust. So it's kind of strange that we put so much weight on voting.
Because it's convenience. I think the modern world has made us so reliant on convenience, and we don't know how to be inconvenienced, which means we don't know how to fix our own problems or be prepared or be proficient in problem solving. We just want to depend on somebody to help us. And that's majority of the, at least in the States, I can't speak for the world, but here in the States, most people rely heavily on convenience and somebody to do it for them rather than doing it for themselves. It's too hard. Or I can't learn that. I can't do that. I can't. It's always some BS excuse instead of just putting the energy into doing it and figuring it out yourself. You want somebody to come do it for you, and that's not gonna happen.
So, and this gets us into the next segment, which is Jonathan Majors, right? Jonathan Majors, who, for those of you who don't remember, he was in Creed 3 and a couple other movies. One of the hottest upcoming, not just Black entertainers, but entertainers in general. He recently was charged with, I think, a misdemeanor assault because him and his white girlfriend got into an altercation in their car. She started it because he got a text message from another female and she saw it, got upset, tried to take his phone. He was getting his phone back. And in that process, she says that he was too rough with her. He gets out the car, tries to run away. She gets out the car and he puts her back in there trying to get away from her. And then he takes off running for like 8 blocks. He goes home. She goes out partying and clubbing that night, comes home, and is found unconscious in the closet. He finds her in the closet. He calls the police himself, and they come. And then he gets arrested for assault, I believe. But then he gets out, and he actually files a police report against her. And according to the report that I read, the police actually wanted to charge her with assault. They wanted to charge her with assault, but that police report was not admissible in court, nor were his injuries that he documented after the event. Those were not admissible. And what they said was, although he was not intending to hurt her, he hurt her in the process of him trying to get away from her. He was trying to get away from her, and he was a little too rough with her because he was trying to get her off of him. Mm-hmm. So I want to show something right now.
They in California too, right?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure where they are.
I think it was California.
So since then, he's been losing a lot of movie roles, a lot of opportunities. He just lost another role where he's playing Dennis Rodman, the basketball player, Dennis Rodman. That would have been huge for his career. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's interesting, right? He was charged with assault, and his charge was dropped because one of them was dropped because he didn't intentionally do it. So it's interesting now that all of these companies that talked about supporting Black people, they talked about diversity and equality. Their analysis did not go and take into consideration that he was on trial against a privileged white woman who attacked him and he was defending himself. This would have been the perfect opportunity for them to stand on business and come out and say, hey, we understand the legal system and how it works, and this man is not going to lose out on any opportunities because he was defending himself. If this was reversed and this was a man attacking a woman, and the woman scratched him up and injured the man trying to get away from him and managed to run blocks away and get away, she would be a hero. She would be a survivor. But because it's a black man versus a white woman, and he was running and he was too rough trying to get away from her, he's the criminal. Yeah. And he's losing out on millions and millions of dollars. What are your thoughts on that?
I think black men have to stop being around insecure women. That's my first thought.
Is that white women or women in general?
Both. Specifically her in this situation, but also both. Stop being insecure by society that tells you should be insecure about yourself. Stop putting your man in jeopardy. Stop putting yourself in jeopardy and acting like a monkey in the circus. The second thing, I think it's wrong what they did to him. I also think that they should have charged her as well instead of just him. Because, again, and we talked about this before, the King Kong concept, right? King Kong and saving the white woman. And this is a perfect display of it because he got in trouble, but she didn't. She's a victim. She's a survivor. She's this, she's that. And now here he is losing out because of a situation of her not knowing how to act or condone herself. But black men have to stop going for weak women. Tired of them losing out because of insecure women. Anybody in my life that knows, they know not to jeopardize any of that. They know to act themselves, but don't ever put our business out in the streets like that.
But we can't really put that on her because he was the one who called the cops. If he never called, and I understand why he did it. I'm not putting that on him because if you walk in your house, especially as a black man, and there's a white woman passed out in the closet, you don't know what this could turn into. That woman could have been in there dead, or she could have died, and it would have been a lot worse for him. So I think he did the right thing by calling the cops. Had this not have happened, though, and I want to say this, right? What I want to say is this. I totally understand the fear of him walking into his house, seeing a white woman passed out on the floor, not knowing what was going to happen. Now, here's where, when people talk about Dr. Umar Johnson saying you probably shouldn't be in interracial relationships, here's where I think he has a point. Okay. I think that white woman at a certain point understood that she actually assaulted him. There was a police report made and I think she even turned herself in based on the report because she understood that she did assault him based on what I read. I think at a certain point, she understood that the system was working for her rather than against her, even though he's the rich one, he's the one with the money, he's the one with the career. She understood that she's a white woman and he is a black man. If he was with the black woman, she would not have even thought that she would get a better chance on trial versus him. She would not even have thought that. But this white woman who says she was assaulted and then went out partying afterwards knew at a certain point, I can't lose. He's a black man and I'm a white woman. At the end of the day, for anyone that sits there and says that you are crazy and out of your mind if you question whether interracial marriage, particularly black men marrying white women, is a concern, just look at how white women act with black men when things don't work out. See, when things don't work out between a black man and a black woman, yeah, the black woman may be vindictive. She may slash your tires. She may key your car up. But for the most part, she still respects you as a black man enough to understand that she's not going to put you through that justice system. She's not going to do certain things because she understands that, one, she's probably not going to get that privilege because her skin is black too. But two, right? I think a lot of people try to look at the best case scenario and not calculate for what could go wrong. What's the worst case scenario? Right? It's all good when there's love and butterflies and everything's whatever. But when the honeymoon phase is over and reality sets in and you start getting mad and, oh, I'm a white woman, he's a black man. So that's my piece on that.
Yeah, spitting facts. Nothing really to add to that.
Huh?
I said nothing really to add to that.
White supremacy, brother. Nah.
I mean, you know, I think it's mixed. I think you see more of that because it's more portrayed, but I think black women have done it also of being vindictive in ways to milk black men for their money, specifically celebrities. But at a community level, for us, like on a personal level, I haven't seen it as much. But in this situation, I think what you said was pretty spot on. Because, you know, people are coming with the, well, black women do it too, and the other women do it too. And it's like, yeah, all women as a whole do it. But there's going to be certain increases with certain communities. And now this has become a trend for a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, a lot of football players as well, going through this with their spouses. Just like that one, there's one football player who just got arrested with his wife for killing, I think, his ex-girlfriend. Mm-hmm. I mean, not to say, hey, not to say that's the reason why he did it, but I mean, hey, look at the news.
I want to address that too, where the point of, well, black women do it too. Okay, let's talk about that. Black women do it too. That's an argument that people will use to say, well, you know, just because white women do something, that doesn't mean that it's bad because black women do it too. Okay. Here's where I stand with that. It doesn't make it better when black women do it, but it's different. And let me explain why. Okay. I have a big family. I have children, right? There are certain things that when someone you know does something, it's different than when an outsider does it. So, like, for instance, if a family member, let's say, steals something, it can be I look at it differently than if a stranger took something from me, because we're still family. Stay with me. I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to cut people off either way. This is what I'm saying. Okay. The long-term benefit of keeping somebody close when you know that there's still love at the core of it, I think outweighs when there's not love at the core of it and you have an outsider that is pretty much just coming in and benefiting off of you, but it's not benefiting other people. So, for example, if there's a family member that does me wrong or whatever, it's not just me they did wrong. They did the whole family wrong, because now it's going to be awkward at family events. Now other people are going to hear about it. There's a spiraling effect, right? So it benefits everyone for us to be on good terms. So you may be willing to deal with things differently because they're an insider, but an outsider, on top of what their people have already done, or, you know, other things that may happen, they're bringing something in. And then when they do it, it's just our community that deals with the ripple effects, and their community isn't negatively impacted. So when that white woman is able to come in and destroy Jonathan Major's life, that's not rippling and negatively impacting white women. That's a signal that they can get away with it too. So even if black women do it, what I'm saying is it doesn't have the same ripple effect as when white women do it, because a black woman that does that to a black man, the community is more likely to try and correct that behavior because we're closer to that black woman. So we can sit here and say, like, on the inside, hey, even if he's doing that, don't do that, or don't do this. And here's how we deal with it internally. but I don't think that there's that same level of respect from the white community. And maybe that's just me being biased. It's just it's hard to explain.
No,
I try my best.
I've seen it firsthand experience. Being the outsider versus the insider, so that doesn't make a lot of sense because what stays in the family, stays in the family. But if somebody else comes in, then for them it's a little bit different, and then there's a whole lot of extra steps that you gotta take to recommend what happened. So that makes sense. Yeah.
I'll give another example. There's been times where I've worked at places and Black people will pull me to the side at the risk of losing their job or getting in trouble because I may go tell somebody. They'll try to give me some insider information. Hey, watch out for this.
Mm-hmm.
Here's this. Here's that. I don't get that from other groups of people. And in my mind, it's like, okay, if we have this system, they probably have this. As a matter of fact, I worked at a job before where after I left the job, the dude, my coworker, told me, there are clients that didn't want to work with you because you're Black, and me and the boss talked about it, and he told me to handle those clients. I was never in that conversation. I knew nothing about it until after I left, and he told me. And guess what? I appreciate that he told me, but he didn't tell me when I was working there, and neither did the boss. So they have conversations amongst themselves. There's a code between them that we're not included in. I'm sure when we leave the room, they're able to speak amongst themselves and be like, see? Or they're pointing things out and biases and things. Even if Black women do it, it's not okay, but it is different, I think.
Yeah.
It's different. It's different because if a white woman does that, and even if I'm able to get through to her to make her to let her know, hey, like this isn't okay, there's still always the fear of, dang, if I have children with her, I'm gonna have to teach them that.
Yeah.
We got Jerry Mouse in the house. I just made that wrong. We got Jerry Mouse in the house. Hey, if you want to come up and give your perspective, if we're missing something, if you just want to disagree, agree, come up, click the link. It's in the comment section right there. Just click the link in the comment section and you can come up and give your perspective. You don't have to be on camera. Turn the camera off. Just hear your voice. But if you want to come up and give your perspective, right now we're talking about what happened with Angela Basset getting a fake Oscar and Jonathan Major. So the topic is Jonathan Major losing out on all of these deals because he was chased by a white woman who says he attacked her while he was trying to get away, and also Angela Basset receiving a fake Oscar. That's pretty much the topic, and we're getting into the differences between would this have happened if he was Black or white, or just centered around that. But if you want to come up and give your perspective on, do you think, I'll frame it in a question. Do you think that the Jonathan Major situation, do you think things would have been differently if that was a Black woman versus a white woman? Do you think that he would have went to trial? Do you think he'd be losing out on opportunities? And I don't even know if you keep up with this. So this may be an interesting topic to you or not, but if you want to come up, click the link, and we could just spitball. But if not, I'm gonna get back. We'll keep talking. If you want to come up at any point, just click the link.
Yeah.
But
I think to your point before we move on to the next, because I know we're gonna talk about Vivica A and all them too. A good example that's happened recently is Young Jeezy and his wife, and how when they were together, it was all good. They loved him, supported him, but as soon as he asked for a divorce, oh, he's got guns in the house. I don't trust him around my kids. I don't think he's being safe around my kids. Asian, but many of them identify with the white community, and he became all of a sudden he became the victim, but he was the hero, but now he's the victim, or now he's the
Prisoner.
monster. Now he's a monster because he has weapons, but it wasn't a problem before, but now it's a problem. So I think that what you said, that's a example that's happened recently. You know, and if it were a black woman, it wouldn't even been a big thing. You know, like how many relationships do you see where a black woman, this is the same situation, that it makes the news? Most of them are going to jail together. Like you said, they know that they don't have a chance. Most of them they're going to jail together. Rarely do you see this type of situation and they both go to jail together. Only one goes to jail.
Right. And here's the point that I'm getting at, because I know people that are gonna watch this on the replay are gonna say, you're just being racist. Are you saying black men shouldn't marry white women? That's not necessarily what I'm saying. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea if we're trying to build the black community. But what I'm saying is this: when you get into a relationship with someone from a community, when you get in a relationship, an entanglement with someone from a community where that community has more power than your community, essentially what you're doing is you're coming to a gunfight with your fists, right? Meaning, if there's no fight, it doesn't matter what weapon you have, whether it's a fist, whether it's a gun, right? But if there is a fight, you put yourself at a disadvantage. And when people try to compare what black women do to black men and what white women do to black men, I think that black men and black women are showing up to that fight with their fist. But when you have a white woman versus a black man, that white woman's coming to the fight with a gun, aka the legal system, which is typically on her side, versus the black man who, even though he has the celebrity, he has the money, and the documents show that she attacked him and he was getting away from her, you're going to say that, well, he was too rough when he was trying to get away. And maybe people haven't seen the video that of Jonathan Major running for his life.
Let me see the video. I haven't seen it yet.
Away from this woman. I mean, this brother.
Damned if you don't.
Away from her. Look, I'm pulling up the video now because maybe this will help people understand why I'm saying what I'm saying. Okay? Because when I saw this video, Jerry said the whole thing is a setup. I absolutely agree. And honestly, I didn't even think of this. I think that this is going to backlash against the Democrat Party and make more black people vote Republican. And I'm going to explain why after I show this video. Because, okay. Let's see this, man. There he is. He walks her across the street. Now, I'm going to rewind it real quick because right here, we see him getting out the car and putting her back in there. He gets out the car and she's following him. At this point, based on the court documents, at this point, he was trying to get away from her because she saw his phone, saw another woman text him, and tried to grabbed his phone and wouldn't give it back to him, and he was trying to get his phone back. He got the phone back at this point, and he's getting out the car to leave, and she gets out with him, trying to come after him. He's putting her back in the car. Leave me alone. Get away from me. Don't want anything to do with you. She gets out. He walks her across the street. Safety, doesn't want to get hit by a car. And watch this. He takes off running. Look. He's trying to get away from her.
Yo, this is crazy.
Look, he's running away from her.
That's wild.
What do you want him to do? He is literally running away from the person that y'all convicted him of attacking. Make it make sense. I'm a powerless white woman in a car. This black man, this huge black man just attacked me. I fear for my life so much that I'm going to get out the car and run after him.
That's wild, bro.
Look how long she chases him. Look at this.
Chasing him to only say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This is what I mean by y'all being insecure. Y'all have got to
He
tighten up.
across the street and everything.
Look,
She's
she
running
been
in front
getting
of
in the
him.
Yo, that's crazy.
Look, he running faster than Harriet Tubman trying to escape slavery. Come on, man.
That boy out there jogging like he finna get ready for a box.
What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? This Jerry Mouse said this is a psyop. This is a psyop. This is a psychological operation on the mindset, because how can you tell me in the same breath that this woman is a victim, but watch a video where she's running in front of cars? Running in front of cars after the man that just attacked her. That don't make no sense to me. The man that attacked her was convicted and has lost millions of dollars. Millions. Not because he beat her up. Not because he strangled her. No, Majors is the operative. This has nothing to do with the actual abuse. That's what they want you to think. So you think Majors is in on this? Is that, maybe I'm misunderstanding. Do you think that Majors is in on this? Because this is the first I've heard someone say of this. Do you think that Majors is in on this? Okay, so yes. So you think that Majors is in on this? I mean, I would love for you to come up and give your perspective on this, because this is the first time. And if you want to click on the link or just add in the comment section. But let me see if I could break this down and you add in too, Ty. So Majors is in on this. But how would he benefit from being in on this? He's losing millions of dollars. His reputation has been shredded. What does he gain? You're going to have to explain to me how him being an operative in this is more valuable than playing Dennis Rodman in a movie. Him being an operative is more valuable than him being in the Marvel movies that he was booted from. Mm-hmm. So help us understand that. Help the audience understand how Jonathan Majors benefits more by being an operative than being cooperative with the white power structure of Hollywood.
Yeah, especially playing in Creed. Creed did numbers, still doing numbers. Why would he jeopardize that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, to serve. Hey, I don't know about that one, brother.
He said, if he is on the conspiracy to subvert our society. I mean, if that was the case, hear me out. If that was the case, it would have made more sense for him to do it when he was bigger. His flame was just getting started.
Right.
If you wanna burn down a building, you don't put it out when it's just in the kitchen, right? You wait until the whole building's up in flames, a couple people died, and then you come put it out to make it look like you care, right? I don't think that you put it out this early part of a bigger mission to subvert our society, because although he was growing, he wasn't Denzel. If this was Denzel, maybe, but he was growing. So I just don't see, one, how this could subvert our society.
Yeah, and my question would be, why him? Ain't nobody juicy.
Is that you talking about the Biggie Small song?
Or Juice, the movie? I don't know what. I don't know who that is. But again, why would they choose him? I mean, if you look at his personality and who he is as a person,
Oh,
characteristics and stuff, a lot of I didn't know that was his name. I didn't know people called him that.
I think Dave Chappelle called him it. In
Well,
that.
but here's the thing about both of them though is like, again, they're not no Denzel, they're not no other influential person, Dave Chappelle, none of those people. Why would they choose them to subvert our society? Like, I can't relate to Juicy and Jonathan Majors. They're not gonna influence me compared to like a Denzel. Well, neither one of them gonna influence me, but for the rest of the community that look up to these celebrities, why choose them? Why choose the most two random ass people to do
And
that?
let's to remind the audience what happened with Juicy Schmoulier.
Yeah.
He allegedly, I don't know if I say allegedly because I haven't kept up with the story that much. I think he was actually convicted. But he pretty much called the police and said that Trump supporters who were homophobic attacked him at like 2 or 3 a.m. in Chicago. It turned out to be a lie, right?
Mhm.
That's what he's talking about. And I could see why adding the Trump supporter thing in there and making it seem like, the country is this and that gets him attention. But I don't see how Jonathan Major benefits from this. He doesn't really. You're talking about the implications of what they are doing. So what we're talking about, what I'll speak for myself, what I'm talking about in particular with Jonathan Majors is how when we look at interracial marriage, interracial dating, the power dynamics that exist. White women have all of this power, and black men come to a gunfight with fists. That's what I'm talking about. And I'm pointing out that I think black men have to be more careful when they're choosing who they are partnering with. Because when things are good, they're good. You getting all the nookie you want. You're getting Becky. But when things go bad, Becky turns into disrespecty. She turns into disrespecty, and now you're in a courtroom.
Yeah. And what
Give
I
me
said,
a moment, I can hop on the call. All right, bet.
and what I said was, I was asking him a question. We're not, and people don't need to get this twisted. When we talk about these people, we're not worshiping them or saying that they influence in any kind of way. We're talking about the community as a whole. We're not talking about how we like these folks. You'll never ever hear us say, "Oh, man, Angela Basset, inspiration to me." I'm never gonna say any of that stuff. So
Angela Basset is an inspiring figure.
do some. But we're not even talking about that. We're talking about the award she got. So, I mean, just wanted to clarify that because I think people are confused. All people need to be cautious of who they are with. You aren't going to say what?
Yeah, I think come on up, and then lay out your argument, and then we can have it because I think it's being lost in translation a little bit.
She's talking about that. She's what you said about her being an inspirational person.
But most people will. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I'm better with the verbal. I get to read it. I get to reading, and then I'm like, okay, now I start getting petty or something like that. So I'm better with the verbal. So come on up, Jerry. If not, keep commenting because it adds to the conversation. But if you can come on up, that's the next best thing. But let's move into we covered Angela Basset, Jonathan Majors. I know you had something that you wanted to get off your chest.
I don't know if you had put it on the thing, but saw a video of Vivica A. Fox, and they was going in on her, saying basically that she was like a Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus because she's like, don't involve me in the Taraji P. Henderson, all black actors aren't getting paid enough. We're getting blackballed, kind of like what Monique was talking about a few years back. She said, don't involve me in that. And I wanted to see what you thought about how it applied to the situation. Not only this situation, but also the Katt Williams situation as well, and what he kind of said about some of the black actors in some of the black communities.
I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna share it real quick.
It also made me think of Katt Williams when he, standing on business. I think she was too, and people were so offended, like, "Oh, you should support her." Like, I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of variables when it comes to this type of stuff, man. Because a lot of these people have been in multi-million-dollar movies, and whatever you get, you got to learn how to manage it.
Right.
I feel like now is the perfect time to have the conversation that Taraji kind of continued over Monique. You know, you're an actress, you've been out there. Is this the perfect time to kind of talk about that in the right platform?
You know, darling, to each his own. Do you know what I mean? I'm very happy, very blessed. And to each his own. I didn't have that experience, so, but to get your piece out is important. I totally understand that. And I love my girls for looking out for each other. But I'm good.
I mean,
yo,
I can't be mad at it. I can't be mad at it. I remember a couple years ago, there was a Lil Wayne interview where they were trying to pressure him into talking about Black Lives Matter, stuff like that. And he was saying he didn't think that racism.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Exists.
Yeah.
Because when he goes to his shows, it's races of all different kinds. And when he was younger, he was saved by a white police officer. Wow. And so he was talking about his own personal experiences. And I think he said it on Shannon Sharp's Undisputed program. But I can't be mad at that. Like, she wasn't disrespectful in her comment. She was just saying, hey, look, I haven't experienced that. And I mean, that's a good thing if she hasn't, I guess. That's a good thing if she hasn't. But you were talking about people were saying what about her?
Oh, that she was an Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Tom, because she wasn't supporting the girls and the movement, and they felt like she was a sellout. Interesting. So you want somebody to get mad about something they never experienced because other people are going through it. How can she even relate to that? Because then you get all these women, especially black women, and then they're gonna look bitter. I mean, Taraji cried on national television. I guess it was television or YouTube, whatever she was on. Cried, and it's like she been going through this for how long? And then 50 Cent reached out and said, "You can come be on Power. I'll pay you some money." But it's like, okay, and it goes back to a little bit of tied into our earlier points about having that accountability, having that drive to network and provide opportunities for yourself. Because once you get in the door, that's it. You just need to connect with people. You need to put yourself out there. She's been in plenty of movies. She was in one of Tyler Perry's movies. She was in Empire. She's done a lot of movies, a lot of shows, and it's like, you coming out how many years later to say, oh, well, we ain't getting paid nothing? Why are you waiting on them to pay you? You got other people who look like you that are doing great things. Look at 50 Cent, bro. 50, how many albums did 50 Cent make? Like a few, maybe? Maybe. My man's has done features. He came out his own drink. He got his own movies, TV shows. Like, he kept building and doing it for himself. Why are we waiting on other people to help us? And I think her crying, and not to say that, not to dismiss her struggle, because I don't know what she goes through. I don't know how many kids she got. I don't know her financials, none of that stuff. But you begin to look like the victim. Reach out to your people, man. Reach out to your people.
There was an image that I had seen where it was talking about how much she got paid versus Brad Pitt in a movie. And I think I found it. I was just...
It aggravates me because you'll see a video of her talking about how she moved to California with $700 in her pocket. And I think she had a kid or two, right? And she played this whole story that most black folks play of growing up from the hood, getting out the mud type of stuff. Everybody says it, right? But now you're saying that you're not getting paid enough, or you're getting paid under what you think you're deserved. Let me ask you a question. If you had a job and you ask for a raise and you know they're not going to give you a raise, what you going to do? You going to stay there or you going to go somewhere else?
I'm going to go somewhere else.
She could literally do anything because she has so much influence and power being in the position that she's in. And you're crying on YouTube? This is in 2016?
No, this was
her memory. Okay.
2016. She was in a movie and she received less than 2% of Brad Pitt's pay. She received $150,000 and Brad Pitt received $10 million.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, what are we supposed to do with that one?
Right.
I don't even know her role in the movie. I don't even know like what she did in the movie. So I mean, was it a supporting role? How much did she want? I don't understand. What?
I ain't watching because I'm just tired of hearing about it, hearing the same thing, and people again. To me, and I don't get me wrong, I use social media, but I feel like social media is a circus, and the next act up is what people go crazy for, and I think people are going crazy for that. They're trying to make it a racial issue, but it's like, if you're not the main actor, you're not finna get paid that much. Like how you gonna get the same money as somebody who's in the main role? The movie's about you, yes, get paid your dollars. But if it ain't about you, then how you gonna, just like being in Empire, she wasn't technically the main person. She was a co-role of the main person, but it wasn't strictly just about her. So it's like, why do we keep being the victim? Why do we keep doing this?
And then here's another thing, right? And this is where I see both sides, because I can understand how if you're in this industry, regardless of the industry, let's take it away from Hollywood. Let's take it into the mental health industry or research or whatever industry, right? And you look around and you have just as much experience, you're pulling just as much weight, and you're not getting paid as much as other people. And you truly believe that it's because of your race. You believe that I add just as much value as these people. Okay, if you add just as much value as these people, then you should be very confident. And you should look at that as like, okay, I know that I can bring out this audience. Why don't I spend my own money to fund these projects then? Because if you're saying that you bring the same value as Brad Pitt, or that you bring whatever percentage, if she said I should have got 10% of what Brad Pitt got or whatever. Okay, let's say that. If you truly believe that and you're that confident, you should be able to put your own money up and get more money than you would have gotten through the studio, because you're getting that return in a more potent way than you would have gotten just getting paid off of this movie. So if you believe that you're worth that, then you should be able to put your money where your mouth is.
Thanks.
All right, we got Jerry in the house. How you doing, Jerry?
I'm doing all right. How are y'all?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. Are you good with being on camera?
Totally okay with it, yeah.
All right. So what do you think about the discussion tonight? Based on what you've heard. I know you came in a little late.
I came in very late, I'm sure. But from what I hear, I hear where y'all are coming from, and I can see what y'all are saying about specifically about the whole Majors thing about domestic abuse, him not having actually done anything and being convicted, um, married to this white woman,
Well, I
and
think
so
they
on
were
and so
just in a
forth.
relationship. I don't think they
Or
were married.
were they not married? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think they were married. They were just cohabitating.
Got it. Common law, let's say.
Yeah, that was a comment.
So I keep an eye. I keep my head on a swivel, trying to see what's being played out in the media. Uh, I think I've been paying somewhat of good attention since like 2007, let's say, and there's certain patterns and certain ways of doing and saying things that occur in the media that throws people off from what's actually happening. So so you have to forgive me when I was like saying all the things in short sentences, because I realized I was like, oh wait, I have to dive deeper into why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not trying to attack. As a matter of fact, I hear where, again, like I said, I hear where y'all are coming from, and I see why y'all see things. For example, y'all said that was it Angela Basset or one of the women, like you don't pay attention to her. Why would anybody, what's going on? It's like, yes, you guys don't. At y'all's current level of consciousness, y'all don't, but there are plenty of people who do have those ideas and thoughts of Jonathan Majors. So you name them. Jonathan Majors isn't like you said, he's not Denzel Washington now, but down the road, very well. Now here's where I'm like, oh, he's in on it. What benefit does he get from it? Well, I could totally see how it could be possible that you could get a whole section of the population riled up and upset that somebody like him would get knocked down a peg. And this is not right. And as a matter of fact, we can blame a whole race of people as to why he's in that position. All of a sudden, this guy becomes a living martyr that we can all rally behind, right? And by we, I mean the people who are believing the game. And will then lift him up, and then he'll be like, oh, he is our new representative and leader, or so on and so forth.
So when you're saying this, do you think that he's in on it, or do you think that this is above him and he's unaware of it?
It could be both.
Okay.
It's possible for it to be. I think it's possible. Either one is possible. So I watched the interview that he did. I watched brief bits. I can't say that I watched the whole thing. There's too much. There's too much content to observe. Let's put it that way. But I saw enough to where I was like, oh, come on, y'all are doing this play again. And by this play, I mean like they did it with Jussie Smollett and they did it with R. Kelly. They do this. They do it all the time, where they put where they bring up, like, for whatever reason, all of a sudden on the three major networks, there's this exclusive interview with this person who was just accosted by the legal system. Meanwhile, there are plenty of Black, white, Asian, Hispanic people who are literally going through what he just went through, who aren't getting any coverage, who aren't being talked about, who are just being swept under the rug, which is what's about to happen with this. See, these things become like okays, like thumbs up from the powers that be. See, this is the way we need to start acting now. You see it, and then you see it on repeat, and you see it on repeat, and you see it on repeat. All of a sudden, that's just the way it is, because these ideas get planted in our minds and it gets played out in the real world.
So can I clarify
yes.
real quick?
Sorry, I do tend to go on tangents, so you have to forgive
No, you're
me.
good. I just want to clarify because, believe it or not, we have a humble little gathering of followers that watch it afterwards. So I just want to clarify what you're saying. What I'm understanding you say is that this is a prototype that they do. And with Jonathan Majors in particular, you're saying, well, why would they shine a light on his situation when this happens every day? Are you saying that they don't have good intentions because it happens every day and they don't talk about it?
The whole play is a problem, reaction, solution thing. So
would you have watched it though if it was some nobody instead of Jonathan Majors? Would you have, if it was just Jonathan from Missouri who went
we wouldn't
through
have
this,
cared. We wouldn't
would
have
you
cared.
have cared?
No.
Do you care that it's Jonathan Majors?
No.
Do you think that the general population cares that it's Jonathan Majors versus just the regular? Really?
We're talking about it. Look how many hits it gets. Look at the fact that it's on ABC News. I bet you everybody's talking about it at the barbershop.
Okay, that's a fair point. When I say care, though, here's what I mean. Right? I'm a business owner. This is me trying to grow my platform and talk about something that's relevant. So something that they're not talking about over here may not get as many views. So that's me caring about it on that level, from a business perspective. And I think that's what these news stations are doing as well. So do you think that
are they talking? So, okay, let me bring this up. To me, the thing that's actually important is the legal system failed in general. Absolutely failed in general. We had there's plenty of evidence to show that this man, let's bring race out of it altogether.
Right.
That the facts are a man got into a situation with a woman and he ran. There's proof that he didn't do what he's being accused of. And there's not only that, there's also proof that this woman obviously did not get abused by this because she went out that night. Okay. He then through the whole thing, he ends up going to court. The jury goes in her favor, not his. Despite the fact that there is actual evidence of what happened that night.
Right.
The conversation that's being had, though, is this is why black men shouldn't be with white women.
Instead of
instead of the legal system failed.
But aren't they connected though?
No, but it's a Mott and Bailey. People are talking about the thing that doesn't matter. Because even you guys, y'all were talking about something that didn't matter. Oh, you can't trust white women. It's like, no, you can't trust people in general in our society right now.
So you think this would have happened with the black woman?
It does happen with black women.
But this exactly with Jonathan, you think that if he
you mean to tell me pause. I'm not now let's get this out of the whole media thing. In this world that we live in today, you mean to tell me that there are not black women who will wrongly accuse a black man of doing whatever, and that black man goes to jail? You mean to tell me that doesn't exist? Okay, pause. You mean to tell me it doesn't exist that there's a white woman that will wrongly accuse a white man of doing the same thing? That's also happening in our culture. You mean to tell me that there isn't a black man that's wrongly accusing a black man of doing the wrong thing? You mean to tell me that we live in a society where there's not a white man that tells a white man that he's doing it? You mean to tell me it only exists that a white woman would do this to a black man? That's the only thing that truly exists. That's the conversation we're having. It's not true. The truth is We have a broken system where everybody is pointing their finger outside of themselves, and it causes this soul situation. We have a broken system. It is not to do with race. It has nothing to do with the media or the politicians. It's us. It literally is us. We're the ones who watch this and say, oh, it's only white women that do that to black men. That's not true. That's a lie.
Okay,
Why is it a lie? The reason why it's a lie, I'm sorry, I'm on a rant, but the reason why it's a lie is because it does actually happen with other races. It does happen with other races. And you know how I know it happens with other races? Go to Europe. It happens over there. Go to Africa. It happens over there. Go to Asia. It happens over there. But we act like it only happens here and only in this case. It's a distraction. The truth of the matter is that woman was in the wrong and she should have been appropriately taken care of. And by taken care of, I don't mean it like that. I mean like consequences, legal consequences. But no, we don't focus on that. We focus on the distraction, which is how different we are, when in fact we're not different.
Right. Let me ask you a question, because
Sorry, I get on those rants.
No, you're good. I don't disagree with anything that you were saying in particular. What stands out to me is I didn't take it as us saying that it only happened in this case. What I'm saying is I agree that the system is broken, but what I'm also saying is that even though it's broken, if you're trying to, like, let's say that in your house, right, you have a top floor and a bottom floor, and the top floor is a little broken, right? It can't handle much weight. And somebody who's 200 pounds, if they step on it, they're going to fall through. But 100-pound person could stand on it and it's broken, but they're not going to fall through. I look at the white woman as being the 200-pound person that stands on that and it falls through, and it exacerbates something that's already broken. So when a white woman enters the court system with a black man, even though the system's broken, it's broken even further when she's against him versus a black woman versus a black man. There's a better chance that things are going to pan out a little more fairly. That was the point that I was making. Not that black women are exempt, but that it needs to be it. Just take you, for example.
The weight. You're talking about the weight of the situation weighs more on the black man than on the white woman.
Or a white woman.
Say that one more time.
Would you rather be in court against a black woman or a white woman? If this was something that you were fighting for your life.
If this is something I was fighting for my life, which one would I rather be with?
You want to walk away free.
Or which would I want to? Yeah. So, based on my principles, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't matter to me.
You think you would have an even shot?
I wouldn't care. It wouldn't, because I don't have that mindset, and so it doesn't work like that with me.
Do you think that
because the thing is in order for this is what I'm talking about. You have to believe that. You have to believe that you're weak.
But you don't have to believe.
The thing is, the whole world can tell me. The whole world can tell me that I'm an Uncle Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The whole world, it's the same thing. Whether it's a black woman or a white woman, it wouldn't matter, because at the end of the day, it's me in this now moment choosing who I am. The fight isn't with the other person. The fight is always with me. So
when you're in court, it's not. When you're in court, you're saying it's not a fight against the other person. It's a fight with you, or that
the whole. I know what I'm talking about sounds paradoxical. But it's until we actually are free in our own minds, the system will frick. I don't want to curse on your show. It will mess us up. That's that's the trick. That's the trick.
If Jonathan Major was the most conscious Black man that ever lived throughout history, how would that have stopped him from being convicted?
One, he's a plant that the media has put out there for us to believe that narrative.
But that doesn't answer my question, because your argument is that, well, even if the court system is broken and it's unfair against Black people, as long as you don't believe that it is, it's not. So I'm asking
you asked me a question earlier about which one would I rather be in court against, and I would say I wouldn't care.
Okay, so
if I have a mindset going into court or any situation, you're a businessman. If I have a mindset that the world's out to get me, I'm right. So I can't go into that court case being like, man, I wish that was a black woman. It's crazy.
But let's talk business then. If I'm trying to get a client, right?
Correct.
And I just say, no matter what I do, they're gonna like me. I don't think that would be a smart business decision. So if I show up and my breath smells like onions, and I show up and I'm talking in a certain way, even though I believe there's nothing wrong with it, that doesn't mean that they won't.
Correct.
So are you saying that just because you believe something, that means that that's going to manifest itself externally in the justice system, in business, etc.?
Yes.
Where is that evidence? Where is there evidence of that, though? Because Jonathan Major, by all accounts, convicted.
There are people who have a mindset that the world's out to get them, and it manifests itself in their life.
I will agree with that, but that's because of the lack of.
It's a principle. It's a fundamental principle.
But
it's a fundamental principle of metaphysics. And so, if that's the case,
it enforces itself. When you believe you're a victim, you don't take action, and when you don't take action, then you don't get results. And when you don't get the results, now you blame it on the world instead of your lack of actions. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about something outside of Jonathan Major's control, where no matter what he believed, the court system was going to do what the court system
whatever it's going to do.
Regardless
now,
of
what I'm but again, to answer your question, you asked me if I was in court, would I rather be in court with a Black woman or a white woman, or against a Black woman or white woman? And my answer would be, I wouldn't care, because it's irrelevant.
How is it irrelevant? If we're going off of statistics, like how would it be irrelevant?
I don't know what the statistics are, but again, the statistics are irrelevant to me. In this now moment, it is irrelevant to me. Why?
I'll make it
because my goal right now, I'm in court. My goal right now is to win.
Okay, let me ask you another question then. In that same scenario, right? Because you're saying, well, it matters more about your mindset and you believing that you're innocent, and that will manifest itself. Do you think you would have a better chance winning if you had a lawyer versus you representing yourself?
I'd probably do better with a lawyer, because I don't know the legal system that well.
So if you can see that even if you believe you're innocent, a lawyer would better increase your chances of walking free, how can't you see that in the justice
with a
system,
Black woman or a white woman?
Yeah.
So
because that's the same thing.
Well, maybe I've been indoctrinated enough to believe that it doesn't matter what the person's race is. Because either if I'm in court with somebody who's wrongfully accusing me, that's on me. How did I invite this person into my life? Like the
And
race doesn't matter. But
I
see,
feel you on that.
right?
That I
But see,
100% feel you.
okay. So to answer,
I
see,
get where you're
yeah.
I get what you're saying, Jerry. I get what you're saying about it wouldn't matter. Because if I go in there with a lawyer and he knows the law to the fullest extent, I'm gonna have a better chance no matter if they're white or black. I think we have to be careful because we're almost saying that the white woman is better than the black woman in this case. We're almost saying that we would have a better chance against a black woman rather than the white woman. And I don't think that's the message that you're trying to convey, Fitz, because
No,
the
that is
black
what I'm saying.
but
That is what
that's
Fitz
kind
is
of
saying, or that's not what Fitz is saying.
That's what I'm saying is that if I'm in court fighting for my life and I've been accused of something, I would rather be in court against a black woman, not because I think the white woman is better, but because I think I'm going to get a more fair trial. Because you have decades, hundreds of years since we've been in this country, even as slaves.
But that mindset is what fucks up black people. That I know what the history says. I know what the history says. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because if you keep the mindset that you're held down, you're right. If you keep the mindset that there's a such thing as white supremacy, you're right. That's how manifestation works. If you hold it in mind, that's it, man. Free yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. If we believe that there is a supreme race, we're right. And we will act as such. We will act like buffoons. We will act like fools. We will act like clowns. We will treat each other like shit. We won't pay attention. We won't get it. We'll get distracted by what doesn't matter. We'll think that they are supreme, even though we don't want them to be.
I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding of my position. So I'll clarify. So I'm not talking about things I can control. I'm not talking about things where it's like, okay, I want to start this business. I'm not going to start it because I believe white people are better or that they're going to do business with white people and not me. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is I'd rather be, if an airplane's crashing, I'd rather have a parachute. To me, I think I'd have a better chance with a parachute. I'm just looking at how things work and operate. And so when I say I think I'd have a fairer chance going against a white woman or a black woman versus a white woman, I'm saying the same thing as I think I'd have a better chance going with a lawyer versus not a lawyer. Or I think that I have a better chance not crashing my car with my eyes open than with them closed. And regardless of how much I believe I can drive good, to me, that's just
Fitz. For whatever reason, I think it's like this for me because I'm hearing. Okay, let me see if I'm hearing your clarification. Let me first start off with that. Okay, so if I am in court, I would much rather pick I would much rather go to court against a black woman that wrongfully accuses me of a crime than go against a white woman that wrongfully accused me of a crime, because I am more likely to get off by going by being in court against the black woman, black plaintiff. Correct?
Yeah, that's my position.
That's your position. And it's your position in the same case as to if I'm to jump out of a plane, I'd rather jump out of a plane with a parachute than no parachute. So you're saying that the white woman is no parachute and the black woman would be the parachute. Correct?
Right. Yeah, I have a better chance surviving the
crash.
Against
Got it.
Because
I'm gonna crash out anyway. So if I'm gonna crash out anyways, I'd rather it be the black woman than the white woman, because the court system supports the white woman over the black woman.
And let's take race out of it for a minute then.
Okay.
Let me ask both
Which is
of
what
you
I
this.
love doing, by the way.
Let me ask both of you. We'll take race out of it and we'll
Mhm.
substitute race with gender. If I
With
get in a
sex,
fight
with
with
sex.
sex, if I get in a fight with either of you, do
Mhm.
you think that the court system's going to look at that differently than if I get in a fight with a woman? The same fight.
Well, no, they're gonna support the woman. Now,
So that's what I'm saying with the white
all
woman.
right.
If
Got
I
it.
fight you, they're going to look at that's just two dudes fighting. What are you in here for? Stop
Mhm,
being a
mhm,
pussy.
mhm.
But if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get in a fight with a woman,
So,
I
okay.
cook you. So I'd
All
rather
right,
be in
Fitz.
court against a man.
I will concede to your point, but I will still stick to what I was saying about it's still the mindset that actually keeps us stuck.
In the example that
So
I
one
gave
and
you, my mindset, in the example I gave you where you agreed you'd rather it be a man, is that your mindset or is that just you understanding that the court system favors women over men in those situations?
so that's an understanding of our physical characteristics, biological characteristics, right? When it comes to the court systems, it's not the same thing. Well, I mean, yes, obviously, yes. In your scenario, if I could pick, I was like, man, I wish that bitch was black, right? But see, the thing is,
They queens, my brother.
I'm just being honest with you, Fitz. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay.
That's not how that's just not how I would approach it. Because it's like that's not even the conversation that should actually be being had.
And
Like I
it's a
said before.
hypothetical because you couldn't choose anyways, right? Like this is a completely
Right, of course, it's all hypothetical.
It's
So
hypothetical.
based
I'm
on the
just saying-
system that we have today, yes, correct. Fitz, you are correct. But it's an issue. It's an issue that I have. Okay. Yes, celebrate.
My first W with a yes.
Yeah, that's so funny. But here's the thing, though, Fitz. But here's the thing. It is still a broken mindset. Because the fact of the matter is, us even having that conversation is what helps perpetuate the issue. Like, as long as we keep separating ourselves in this country, we'll never actually be able to fix the legal system, because the legal system actually does fuck everybody over equally.
But
Like,
it can't. If you agree with me, then it can't mess over everybody equally because your situation where you just said you'd rather it be a man.
I'll bring it back to the fundamental of the whole thing. The whole legal system is actually out to get all the individual citizens of our country. So, doesn't matter.
But it does matter.
Because
it's not just everybody in court all at once.
Nope, a wrong is a wrong no matter what. So it's like, as long as we keep as long as we keep thinking of ourselves as separate, we will never be able to fix it. Oh, some more than others. Well, then we'll only fix for the some. What?
I'm talking about not how I think it should be. I want to clarify that. I'm not talking about what I think it should be. I'm talking about what it is.
What it is. But the thing is, the reason why it is the way it is because of the mindset of the people. So it will never change until the people change. Like it doesn't work the other way around. It just doesn't work the other way around.
So are you saying in 1860 or 1870, right when slavery ended, that a black person going to court, the reason that they were getting convicted is because they had a poor mindset about it?
I'm saying everybody had a poor mindset.
I mean, that's hard to understand.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's
the black person where they have the black codes and they do things specifically to where they can use the law against you. That if
I mean,
all
people,
you
but
did was have a positive mindset.
black people do that to each other today. Look at Chicago. The people who run that city are black. So what?
So that's different than the court
No, it's
system.
not.
Something external.
No, the court system is run by black people in Chicago.
But they're
What?
not operating from the perspective.
Who are they? Are they not black people?
They're black people with white minds.
white minds. Explain that.
So just because you likely went to a white school and were taught, all of your counterparts were probably white, a majority of them, and you still grew up in a white racist system that teaches you that black people are second-class citizens. So just because you get in a position of power does not now mean that you all of a sudden have black people's interest in mind. So when you're saying that, well, it's ran by black people, it's ran by people who appear black, but who aren't mentally black.
It's run by people who like to point their fingers outside of themselves as opposed to changing within. That's it. It doesn't matter your race.
I agree with that. I can agree with that point.
And the reason why I say that is if we go to another country where it's homogenous, I bet you could find the same shit.
You could. It would be broken down differently, though. They would have different segments or different.
You would still have a corrupt, broken system where there's it. Like this is why I try to bring the race thing out of it, because it again makes people focus on the wrong thing.
So what should we be focusing on?
We should be focusing on how do we actually create a system that does work? How do we actually, because when a system is broken, you discard it. You either fix it or you discard it. But like we have this system that we all can agree on doesn't work. We can all agree on it. I don't know anybody who I can have a conversation with who just says that this system is not broken. Right.
Let me ask you
and so what we do, and so what we end up doing is we keep voting for the same people, or we keep, whether it's judges or prosecutors or mayors or you name it. And then we'll and then they'll fix it. And then we'll be like, "Wow, why is everything so broken? Oh, it must be that race, or it's that system, and it's only coming against us." And then all we're doing is going like Spider-Man, pointing at each other. Meanwhile, the powers that be that know that that's what we're prone to do will be like, pump up the system more, give them more of that shit that they say they don't want. They'll eat it up. It will get all their energy and attention will go towards that thing. Meanwhile, cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. They'll keep making their cheddar. Because why? We're distracted pointing our fingers outside of ourselves as opposed to changing within, as opposed to creating a parallel economy, as opposed to creating something that's actually separate from any of these paradigms that have been created for us.
I can agree with creating separate institutions where we're in control and we run things pretty much.
Right. And so you just do that. And you don't get distracted, but you don't.
We have to acknowledge race if we're going to do that. When I say parallel, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about black people. Black people have their own institutions.
Then create the institutions based on the principles that you want to have.
Right.
You don't. So it's like.
About. And I want to ask you. So it sounded like you were saying that understanding how the justice system or society in general affects black people is a waste of time because we should be focusing on how it affects everybody. Is that your position?
Correct.
Okay. So
Because if you want to create, so here's why, and this comes from business. So if you're trying to create something that is impactful for, like, let's say I like to start from home first. So I have myself and my family and so on and so forth. I want to create something for my house. I don't worry about if, my dad or my mom's going to be into it or this, any other. I'm going to create it because I know it's going to be helpful for me. I'm going to create this thing so it's helpful for me. Now, people are going to see me utilizing this thing. It's like, damn, Jerry, that's awesome. Your life looks way easier. I was like, yeah, hell yeah. You want in on this? Yeah, well, great. Now, here's how you use it. I don't go and say, the way y'all are doing things is broken and so on and so forth, and y'all need to change it so I can have an easier life. No, it doesn't work like that. So I don't go into it saying I'm going to go and create a black system. I just go and create a system. Why? Because that's just how it works. If you keep focusing on the immutable characteristics, you're only going to create a system that focuses on the immutable characteristics, and you can never get beyond that paradigm. Elon Musk isn't creating rocket ships to space for white people.
Who's he creating them for?
The human race. He says it over and over again. It's for humanity.
Okay, let's stay on this wavelength then. I have a question. Do you own a car, or do you have a car?
I do.
Okay. If something was wrong with the car, would you be satisfied with the answer of the car is broken, or would you want to know specifically what's broken on the car?
That's a great question. I would want to know what was broken with the car.
Okay, specifically, right? Okay, so
my carburetor, it's the carburetor.
Now, if I were to come in and say, well, you're focusing on the carburetor, but the whole car is broken, would that help you fix the carburetor?
Well, is the whole car broken?
Well, if we're talking about the car as a system and the carburetor affects different parts of the system, and by fixing this, you can at least drive or continue on with your day, right?
But if there are other corrupt parts of that system, which is the car, at some point it's totaled, and you go get another car.
Right.
You don't just go and fix the carburetor just because the carburetor is broken, and then you find out that this is also broken, and you find out that that's also broken, and you find out that's also. And I was like, what the hell is the point of me even bothering with this car anymore? It becomes a lemon. And you're like, wait a minute, dude. If you read the Declaration of Independence, it's a powerful read. It's this very short read. If you read it, it's great. It's a great example of this. They listed all the broken parts of the car. The car being the crown, the British crown. They were like, y'all keep doing this, y'all keep doing this, y'all keep doing this, and y'all keep doing this. If y'all keep doing this, I'm sorry, at some point we have to say peace. Y'all literally, by God, y'all gave us no choice but to say bye.
So, but they did what I'm saying black people should do. That they were a part of the human race, and they didn't like something about it, and then they made something different. How is that different for black people? Like, why are black people?
Black people aren't. But see, in having this conversation about, by having this conversation about Jonathan Majors, and I don't know this lady's name. I've never seen her in my
Angela
life.
Basset.
Which is not even Bassett. No, the white woman. God, it's just a freaking game. It's like Like it literally, that's what they want us to. I promise you, they don't want you to actually say, here are the list of my actual grievances. Sorry, this is psycho-cybernetics, by the way. Sorry. Here are the list of my actual grievances. This is my actual grievance. This is what should actually be happening. And if this doesn't happen, I'm out. Black people don't do that. Black people don't do that.
Right. I can
What
agree
they
with
do is, can you believe what happened with Jonathan Majors? Can you believe that white women can get away with this? Can you believe that Angela Bassett's trophy is fake? That's literally the play. That's the distraction. They don't actually want you to look at the legal system and be like, wait a minute, this happens to everybody. They don't want you to say, wait a minute, this happens to everybody.
Mhm.
This is wrong. They
So are
want you
you
to go.
saying
They want you to go. They literally want you to go and think this way and react this way. They want you to think white women get away with this way more than black women. That's what they want you to think. Not to say that it doesn't happen. I'm not saying it's not happening, but that's what they have you focused on. As opposed to, if you read the Declaration of Independence, it says what they're actually getting away with, which is what's happening today.
So are you saying that by focusing on that it's happening with everybody, that in turn fixing that will directly or indirectly make it less likely that it will happen to black people?
Yes.
And
What's good for me is good for everyone. If I'm free and you're not free, I'm not free. So as long as I keep focusing on myself in that direction, and I can't say, you know what, this ain't right for me and it ain't right for you. You and me, brother, need to actually stand up for this. It ain't going to be fixed. Everybody's going to be like, nah, that's y'all's race problem. Nah, that's y'all's race problem. And not only is it going to be, nah, that's y'all's race problem. Fuck your race. Here, it's going to get to that point with this.
Let me ask you this.
With this mindset.
When black people were
Sorry,
slaves,
I get heated.
When black people were slaves,
we're not
white
though.
people free? But because you said if we're not free, no one's free, or if one person's not free or whatever, no one's free. But we know that not to be true because black people were slaves and white people were not. So if it's, you know, if we're slaves, then you're slaves. And
that's tough to say though, because technically, if you think about it and break it down, white people were also slaves because they had to be a certain way in that time. They had to buy black people. I don't think every white person was like, "Oh, I just want me a good old nigger on my farm to do all this stuff."
Have to buy us. There was a select group of people that bought us, but it was just like going to the store and buying candy. You don't have to buy candy, but some people do.
Right.
They didn't have to buy
slaves, but back to the abolition. So the fact of the matter was the abolitionists and the freed blacks still had to come back down south to free black people because there were black people who decided that, well, this is just the way we know how things work.
So I'm not sure. It says it'd be only fate if we are not all free. I'm not saying we all shouldn't be free. What I'm saying is that I think it would be naive to not at least admit that whether we're talking about race, whether we're talking about homogenous groups of people, they still tend to separate themselves, whether it's based on class, whether it's based on lineage or blood. Race is one category in a plethora of categories that have been used to separate humans. There are caste systems. There are, you know,
and those systems are all old and can be passed. Systems don't have to stick around. Systems don't have to be violently changed.
So how do you see capitalism working without exploiting people?
Capitalism doesn't exploit people if it's done correctly. Our system isn't capitalistic. We have a socialistic system. We pay big company through tax dollars. We give them incentives and all that stuff, and then we pay welfare recipients and with the tax dollars of the people in the middle. That's not capitalism. Most of the things, yeah.
But
We live in completely distributed. Well, it's not completely. It's not the USSR, but distributive system. Like we don't live in a free capitalistic society at all. And so people will blame capitalism, but capitalism is not the problem.
But in order for capitalism to work on the level that it's working at, there has to be exploitation. There has to be
because of the current system.
But at its on a fundamental level in capitalism, you have to exploit somebody. Someone has to get paid. Someone has to get paid. That's not a capitalistic system. And what you can sell something for.
Capitalism isn't based on, okay, fine. Let's just say that's your definition. What I'm defining as capitalism isn't what you're defining. It's not exploitation. For me to do business with you, I'm not exploiting you if I'm doing it correctly. What I value and what you value aren't the same. And so I have something that you value and I have it at a certain price. There's a difference between cost, price, and value.
But we're talking about the means of production, not the selling of the product necessarily. But if
the means of production is business,
right? Like, so if I'm working for you and you're selling potatoes for $5, yes, and you paid me $1 to do that,
yeah,
you exploited my labor.
No, I didn't. You agreed to it.
But that's still exploiting labor because the value.
No, it's me leveraging. Exploiting would me to be taking advantage of you. I'm not. You agree to it. If you agree to buy something from me and you paid me, I get to do with it what I want. If you give me X amount of time, I expect something. I expect something on the back end. You're also creating something I'm paying for.
Are you paying? But if you paid me what those potatoes were worth on the market, you wouldn't make a profit.
It's cost, price, and value are not the same thing. Cost, price, and value are very different things. It costs me as a business person, it costs me money because I want a microphone. I have to buy this microphone, right? It costs me something. For me to produce some sort of content, right? And I'm going to sell that content for X amount of dollars, right? Now, the consumer on the other end has some sort of value. They either value the content or they don't. If they value it, they're willing to pay for that. But that's not me exploiting that consumer. All right, bet. Now I have an editor. Am I exploiting that editor? No, I'm not. The editor likes the people I work with, at least, like to do what they do. I need their help because I can't do what they do. I literally can't do what they do. So I pay them to help me. Now, if I start, this was where exploitation would come in. I start paying them less than they're worth. That's me exploiting them.
So when I'm talking about exploitation, all I'm simply saying is that I'm not using it in a negative way. What I'm saying is that what something costs to make is not necessarily what you're going to sell it for and what its value is. And so you can't pay somebody what this thing is worth because then you wouldn't make a profit. So in order to make a profit, you have to pay somebody less than what this thing is worth. So their labor is worth less than this thing sells for. That's all that I'm saying. is that they're
To me,
it's
the
not
individual,
equal out
yes. To
to
me,
the
the
marketplace.
individual. Well, I'm part of the marketplace. So it's
Right.
like the marketplace. The marketplace is where we trade what I think is valuable with what you think is valuable. But that's not exploitation.
I think
Exploitation would be, well, what's the definition of exploitation? The action or
I'll pull
fact
it
of
up.
treating someone unfairly in order to benefit from their work. I'm not
So
if
that
you're truly operating under a free market, you're not unfairly making business. If you're unfairly making business, you're corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not someone you want to do business with.
but so we have
Capitalism isn't exploitative.
it. I don't know that
Socialism
we.
is exploitative. It's
I
like
can agree.
when you distribute other people's money, that's exploitative because it's like they didn't ask for this thing, or they asked for it and they didn't do anything for it. But if I do something for it and you do something for it and we trade that done thing for it, that's not exploitative. That's leverage.
So this is what I it pulled up for the definition. To make full use of and derive benefit from a resource. I think that's kind of what I was trying to communicate, was that it's not necessarily negative. It's just you're getting value, like you're using this thing as a tool or to get value out of it, but the value that you're getting out of it isn't what it's worth on the marketplace. So you have to pay somebody less than what something is worth in order to be able to resell it. So you're
okay. Use your definition in a situation.
okay. Situation here. I am trying to sell pins, right?
Mhm.
And I could sell this pin for $1. You come along and I pay you 20 cents to make this pin. I've used and derived your resources, which is your time, energy, skill set, to create this pin. And now I go and sell this pin for more than what I paid you. That means that this pin is more valuable than your labor.
No, it means that the price is different. The value is not. The value isn't equal. Value is only apparent to the individual. It's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Value is in the eye of the beholder. Like you found it valuable to make that pen. You yourself couldn't make that pen. So you found somebody who could add value to that, and you paid them accordingly. They wouldn't have done that for you if you wouldn't have paid them properly. They valued what you were paying them more than their time.
That's an assumption that they wouldn't have paid you if you didn't, or they wouldn't have done it if you didn't pay them. I guess when you say accordingly, are you saying what it's worth?
You could make, if you, Fitz, could find somebody who would have done it done better work for less, you would have gone with that person, correct?
Correct.
That's not exploiting. That's not exploiting them. If that's what he was like, here's how it works. I go, Fitz.
But if we're using my definition, would it be exploiting? Not the negative connotation, but just making.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go in yours. Okay, maybe we might be speaking the same language and just like passing each other on the road.
Yeah, I think so.
So you want to make this pen. You don't know how to make this pen, so you come to me. I'm like, yeah, Fitz, I could totally make you a pen. It's going to take me X amount of time, and it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me this amount of time. It's going to cost me this amount of energy. And it's going to cost me this amount of dollars in order to make that pen for you in the amount of time you want it. You're like, okay, okay, bet. Then you find Ty, and then you're talking with your boy Ty, and then Ty says, dude, you actually need to go talk to Jimmy. He can do it way quicker. It's going to come out pristine. And not only that, it's going to cost you $5 cheaper. Or it's going to cost you $5 cheaper. It's going to cost you $5 less. You go with it. Now, you go, man, I told Jerry I was going to go with him, but man, $5 cheaper and it's going to come out better than this, any other. But you know what? I value my friendship with Jerry way more than I would with him. So I'll go with Jerry and I'll pay a little bit more. And I know it's going to take me a little longer, but I'm going to go with him. Because you value something about that pen and me making it more than however much it costs. There are other people, though, who'd be like, yo, Jerry, love you, bro. But honestly, I actually have to save on this $5 because I have to go make sure that my kid gets a diaper on his butt. So I need that $5. So you find that more valuable. So you go that direction. But see, that's the marketplace. Like, it's not this like,
and I would argue everyone
and the reason why, and I think the reason why I'm a stickler on the word exploit is because, yes, you maybe not be using the negative connotation, but the noun exploitation does have a very specific meaning. And when someone says exploit, it's like you're actually denoting the noun exploitation. And so you're not actually exploiting somebody when you're in a free market system. You're actually doing something of mutual benefit. You're actually creating value.
Let me ask you, have you read the book Capital by Karl Marx?
Karl Marx, yeah. That's why I don't like the word exploitation. I'm very what do you call it? Cognizant of the use of certain words. Mm-hmm. In fact, I found myself meditating on the word capitalism. It's like, that's also a Marxist term. So it's like to use Marxist terms to try to communicate with people causes a lot of issues because it's double speak. So it's so you have to be wary of like propagandistic words. And I'm telling you, capital is a propaganda piece of the 1800s. And so words like capitalism, exploitation, labor, so on and so forth, they have double meanings, and you have to be very wary about how you use words. Notice you said gender earlier, and I was just like, you mean sex, because it's like these are.
And I said gender because I'm just so used to saying gender.
Exactly.
Sex is like, I grew up where gender, everyone knew it meant boy and girl. So
no, you grew up with sex, which was boy and girl. We learn like these are all words that we get taught, but these words have double meaning, and we don't recognize it. And then all of a sudden we're saying gender as opposed to sex, and next thing you know, we're living in a transhuman society.
Pretty soon,
because we're not,
or transhuman would be part of that.
Yeah. Transhuman, transracial, trans, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, and it's all because it's like, we got duped. We got duped because we're paying attention to the wrong things. Capital is great. Capital is a good book. Back to that question you asked me, but it's poison.
Do you think there are any valuable insights in it?
You know what's so funny? We live in a society where we actually can just sit in the park, go fishing. We actually do live in that society right now where we can actually I can literally create an online digital store, really set it up just right, and have income coming in. And it's like automatic as I sleep, to the point to where I can go and hang out with my son. We go to the beach. You know, I live on a farm, so I'm learning farming skills right now and all that stuff. You know,
But
I'm a
you
city
forgot
boy.
an
I'm a
important
city
point.
boy. I did not grow up in a farm. What's that?
Forgot an important
That's
point.
another thing. I live Marx's dream. I live on a farm, like by the beach in the lake. You know what I mean? Like I'm with my kids and my family. Only difference is, unlike him, I create things. So he writes this book telling others how they should be like, we should make the system so it can match them, this ultimate dream of mine. You know, so all the people, all the workers can unite. It's like, nigga, all the workers are uniting. They're building shit. The fuck you talking about? Like, you're the one who's over here bitching and complaining, trying to get everybody all riled up, as opposed to actually helping them create something. Nah, he's the one who exploits people. He literally is the one who's just like, like his boy Engels kept throwing him money. And now, like, on his death, he's just like, I just couldn't stop giving him money. It's like, but he didn't do anything. And of course, people go and buy this ideology because it looks good on paper. It looks amazing. If you go and listen to Joseph Stalin, a speech of his, he's standing there in front of a whole people, and I'm like reading the subtitle, and I'm like, man, this sounds amazing. Do these people realize that there's bread lines literally on the other side of that wall? Like, it's the craziest thing. Communists. I don't understand y'all. It's complete gobbledygook.
Do you think I'm a communist?
Not you. I'm sorry. You get me on Marxism, and I'm just like, y'all don't even know. And I'm like, bro, I know the meme, but it's like, get a job. Because it's like, actually be part of the free market system, and then you'd understand it's actually not so bad.
Right. And I agree. And I don't even remember why we got on capitalism, but I'm glad we did, because this is going to make for some interesting clips. I wanted to ask you, what is your background? Because you seem very well read, very educated on these topics. Like, what do you just read up on things? Are you in a certain field? Like, what are you?
I'm just
what I guess what makes you this into these topics? Because everyday people, they don't seem to be into it like us.
Yeah. Like I said, this goes back to like 2007 for me. My brother introduced me to a movie called Zeitgeist, and I've basically been a tinfoil hat wearer in disguise for a long time. And but like, since I was a kid, I would always ask questions like why would people do that? Why would people do this? Like, why the Salem witch trials? Like, I don't understand. Like, why would people burn people at the stake? Wait, why would people like why are there lynchings? Like, it didn't make sense to me. None of it made sense. And I didn't understand why they were teaching us those things. My parents come from another country, and they were like teaching me things that just also added to the confusion. And I was just like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Like, literally, this is something I always tell people, but like, my mom was like, don't hang out with white people, because if you do, you're going to get arrested. And I was like, and then I swear 2 weeks later, my dad's like, don't hang out with the black kids, because if you do, y'all are going to get arrested. and it was just confusing, because in my mind, I'm just Jerry. Like, right. I had, I sat at the lunch table with Maria Carlo and Matthew Tran and Jason Ostro. You know what I mean? Matthew Tran.
You said Maria
Carlo. I'm just saying, like, at my lunch table.
That was her last name.
These are just my friends, like, back in the day.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, if you were cool, I hung out with you. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I'm part of that Captain America generation, not Captain America, Captain Planet generation, right? I got duped into that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And Ninja Turtles, all that type of stuff. I was just a kid in Texas. Get it? And but I always questioned the narrative. Like I always was just like, what? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Like I don't understand. Like the whole slavery argument. That's always confused me because in my family, we were the my great grandfather sold slaves. So to me, I'm like, wait, the way y'all are telling it, this doesn't match my family's story about the whole thing. Right?
Right.
Oh, Jerry, don't be saying that shit out loud, man. Man, when I would even the Nigerians, man, they don't like me saying that stuff out loud. But you want to talk about truth? I mean, the truth is this is what humans have done for all eternity: subjugate one another. And I'm the one over here advocating and trying to advocate voluntarism and freedom and actual like peace of subjugation. And like that includes the subjugation of our own minds. Like no inside job over here is my point.
Let me ask both of you this, and that's a very interesting background. And it makes sense because were you born here or did you?
I was born here. Yeah, I was born in the States.
Okay. But your parents,
see, you got to understand. I was not the kid that I was the kid in school who like hung out upstairs essentially by himself because he thought everybody was weird. Because it's like, why are y'all acting like this? Like, how come I'm friends with this one person and he's bad mouthing this other person who I'm also friends with? And I'm supposed to just like choose side. Y'all are dumb. Now I'm gonna hang out there. And I would be up there and I'd just watch the segregated races. I would see, the cliques. Oh, there's the popular white kids. There's the poor white kids. There's the major, dude. I swear to God, there's the rich black kids. There's the poor white black kids, and then you had the Asian mafia in the center, and then you had the theater kids who I usually hung out with because they were the ones who at least would let me be myself. And I was just the observant kid who was just like, this is all dumb. I was the guy who was like, I remember watching the Bush Clinton election and being like, Ross Perot, hell yeah, let's go. So I've always been the contrarian in the group, and I'm always the one who's asking the questions no one's asking. I'm always the one who's like, have y'all ever just considered actually listening to what MLK had to say? Actually, because it's beyond just like hearing a thing and actually doing a thing. So I found myself through the years doing those type of questions. But then in 2007, when I watched Zeitgeist, just blew open my mind as to like how deceptive this system that we live in is. And from then I just really like dove deep on everything, really, because it was like, man, if it's in one thing, it must be in all things. And that's the case because they say long march through the institutions, any means necessary, those type of statements. Well, if that's the case, what are the means? How are y'all doing this to us?
Let me ask both of you this. Okay, and we'll close with this because we're going on 2 hours and 40 minutes, and I want to respect y'all's time. Are you for Black people first? Why or why not?
Am I for Black people first? I would say yes. And here's why. I am Black. I'm a Black man. Now,
maybe we don't know yet. We have to wait until whoever gets elected to tell us what our gender is.
So yeah, right. Yeah. It's well, okay. I'll put it this way. I really, gosh, honestly, I guess I'm one of those lamos that's humanity first, but like
Mhm.
I say lamo only in the sense that I do actually recognize the oneness of us all. And it's the most immutable thing about us. It is what got MLK killed. It is what got Malcolm X killed, is the recognition of the oneness of man. And you know, again, if we don't actually free, because you're right, through the years we've had wars, rumors of wars, subjugation, conquering, all these type of things. And in somebody like me, in my mind, I'm like, all that had to happen for this moment to happen. If none of those things didn't happen, how could I be here? So how can I be like that was bad or that was wrong? No, it happened. I don't like that it happened. Anytime I make a mistake, I'm like, I redirect. I go the right direction. So I look at the past. I look at history. Obviously, I love history. I'm like, great, history's all there. And I'm like, wow, we actually live in the first time in history where we have access to all the information of history at the snap of a finger. What are we going to do with it? Are we going to keep acting like them fools of the past systems? Or are we going to actually be like, okay, it's time to grow up, y'all. It's actually time to grow up. We don't need to actually be battling one another. We've learned that. We learned that we can actually have conversations as opposed to war. That's what we've learned in the last 100 years, at least, with the Cold War and everything, is that, okay, hold on. Even though there's still skirmishes and all those type of things and wars and all that, we can actually get to the place where I'm like, you stepped on my shoes. I don't like that. Can we please not step on my shoes again? Okay, if you continue to step on my shoes, I will retaliate. Okay, you're stepping on my shoes. Now I will smack you in the face. But we need to get out of the mindset of you stepped on my shoes, I'm going to smack you in the face.
Right. That's interesting. What about you, Ty? Black first? Or why not? Are you for black people first? Why or why not?
I have to agree with Jerry about being for the human race as one. Don't get it twisted that I'm not gonna fight for the black community or any other communities that I'm a part of. But for me, growing up, my principles, values, all those things was respect everybody, whether it's a person or a thing. And I think I'm always gonna abide by that because again, I think Jerry made a lot of great points. So also saying when you guys were talking about the justice system and things like that, we have to make it better for everybody. And once it's better for everybody, then a lot of the problems that we are facing are going to maybe not be eliminated, but it's going to decrease severely.
Y'all some traitors. No.
Nah.
I think the people in the comments are going to say.
Well, and Jerry brought up Malcolm X, and if people know about Malcolm X, a lot of people thought that he was being racist towards white people, and I don't think that was necessarily true. It was more about having discipline, being proud of who you are, doing stuff in your community. He was more about just uplifting us as a people. He wasn't saying white people are this. Now, he might have said that maybe they're a devil a few times, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. But then he did his pilgrimage, went to Saudi Arabia. He was a Muslim, came back and saw that we can exist all together without all the necessary BS if we, again, what Jerry said, throw away these systems. Because I like a lot of points of Jerry. That's why I was shaking my head like this. People thought I was listening to music, probably. I do think that we are played in to hold on to these systems, and then we continue to put ourselves in these chains, and we never really get free because it's like a Ferris wheel. We just keep going around and around and around.
It's
and
a hamster wheel. Ferris wheels are fun. Hamster wheels aren't.
A little bit of both. So I mean, I agree with both of you guys, and I see where you're coming from, Fitz, too. But I think that mindset can be very tiring to carry for a long time because then you come to the same results. And we talked about that. And we talked about this in a previous live about insanity. You know, you're thinking you'll keep doing the same thing and get the same results. So I'm for all people. I think we all need to come together and get our heads out our asses. I think we do involve race a little too much because I've been overseas, went to Germany, and for the first time, I was never seen as a colored person. It was more of regular dude from America. That was it. And they treated me as one of theirs. They never was racial and not like I got a ticket on the car. It was because I parked somewhere illegal. And I probably should have parked there, but it wasn't because I was an American. You know, they show me more respect than people here in the States have. So
100%.
I'm for all people, but you know, I think people should be proud of who they are.
Okay.
We know what you gonna say. We know what you gonna say.
Okay.
Mr.
So
Pan African.
I'll say I am for Black people first, but I have a very specific reason. Okay. I'm for Black people first for the same reason why I'm going to help the person getting bullied fight the bully before I help the bully fight the person that they're bullying. So when I say I'm for Black people first, what I'm saying is somebody has to be for Black people first to get us to the point to where we can even be on equal terms with people, because I think it's a utopia and a fantasy to think that people in control are going to give up that power and just be like, here, let's all be equal. We don't see really much examples of that. That's why the United States was even created in the first place, was because there was so much going on over here and people wanted more freedom, so they had to get something separate. So I don't think that without creating a separate system, you can just, here, we're going to give you the power. I don't think that that's how humans operate, and I don't think history supports that. So when I say I'm for Black people first, what I'm saying is that if no one is for Black people first, then things stay the same with us. We're not in any position, I don't think, to be for everyone right now, because everyone doesn't need what we need. And if we adopt that mindset of everyone's for everyone, then we're going to be the kid in the back of the classroom that's struggling reading, and the kid in the front that knows how to read, they're going to know how to read, but we're in the back. And because it's everyone's getting the same amount of attention, we don't learn how to read. And so I think someone has to be for Black people first, just to make up some of the difference. And I don't think more people being for Black people first negatively impacts other groups of people. Because I think when we say for Black people first, people take it negatively and assume we're talking about harming people or being racist or disliking people or disrespecting people. When I say for Black people first, I'm talking about where you spend your money.
Just as much as we would be America first.
Right. This is
like
our home.
You would want to take care of your own. Yeah. I wrote down in my notes because I would love to continue this conversation. I know you're closing this out, and I was like, man, I would love to have this conversation with you. It'd be fun.
What's a book you recommend? Give us one book you recommend, and I'll read it. Guaranteed.
Wow. The Law by Frederick Bastiat. Have you read that?
The Law. I have not.
Yeah, it should be
Frederick,
fairly easy read. Bastiat. He was a
German?
He was a French philosopher and politician during the French Revolution. He was probably Robespierre's number one detractor, if you will. The Law, it's a pretty good read and a pretty quick reading. I would recommend that. I would love to have that conversation with you.
What's his last name?
Bastiat. It's Bastiat.
Bastiae.
Bastiaate. I think that's it. If you type in Frederick the Law, it should pop up. And I'm sure you can find audiobooks on YouTube or something along those lines. So
Okay. I'll check that out. Is it?
Yeah,
It's
I think it's like 2-hour read maybe. So
you could get it in English.
oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Like the law might even help you have a better understanding. So the law might help you have a better understanding of my worldview when it comes to politics and how terrible it is. And how far removed I would rather be from the state in general. And one could even argue it would be the antithesis. No, it wouldn't be the antithesis. It would be a proper response to a Marxist doctrine. I think it would be not a reaction, but a proper response to a Marxist state ideology.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Mhm.
I'll check that out. Have you read Black Skin, White Mask by Frantz Fanon?
Black Skin, White Mask by
Frantz Fanon. It's a pretty interesting book. He was a French psychologist, and he was Black. He talked about some of the things that went on with the French and his experiences and things like that. But he gives a very detailed analysis. I believe it's from a Marxist perspective. I don't want you to think I'm a Marxist or anything. I just got a master's.
I love them. I love them. I love them all. I don't actually have a problem with people's ideas. I just think people need to question their ideas.
Right.
That's all.
That makes sense.
Because the rise and fall of a nation can be determined by the rise and fall of the ideas of men, and that can be taken to the individual, family, and community. And if the people aren't aware of the ideas that they've taken on and accepted to be true, they could literally be voting for their own noose. And if people don't understand that there are people who know that they don't know, and you literally call them useful idiots, it's just like, hey, you might want to wake some people up and let them know, hey, do you know that these people think you're a useful idiot and everything you're saying is actually going against your interests as much as you think it's helping? So anyways,
I posted a link in the comments. If you're able to see it, it was free. There's like a PDF online. It's called Black Marxism by Cedric Robinson. I read it in my college course. It's free. I went and found the free version, but you can download the PDF if you can click on it in your comment section.
Cedric Robinson, correct? I don't know how to click on that.
Is it not showing up as a hyperlink?
Oh, there it is. Okay. No, that's saying StreamYard.
Let me see if it will.
By the way, I really appreciate you allowing me on your platform, Fitz. This was really edifying, and it always feels good to express myself. So thank you.
It's humbling, and we definitely appreciate you coming up. The level of insight we get from people joining in is just it's another level. It's cool when we're talking, but we always welcome other people coming up so that we can get other perspectives. We like to be challenged. We like a little a lot of different perspectives and things like that, and we don't shy away from any conversation or anything like that, as you can see. And it's just about adding value and just figuring out what people want to hear. And if it aligns with the values, we'll talk about it. So, and even if it doesn't align with the values, we'll try to find a way to talk about it in an insightful way.
Nice.
But do you have any books, Ty?
Not really on those things. Mine are more of just personal stuff. But when
or even like even links or like, a good doc or something.
Yeah.
Y'all put me on
not
docs are just
as like that. We don't need that, brother.
Nah, think about that.
Well, what I'll do is, if you can't think of anything, when you do, you can send me the link and I'll put it in the description. And Jerry, you could just come back to this video and click on the description, the link in the description, and it should be there. People watching are like, y'all can do this offline. Let us live. But
thank
right,
y'all. I should probably hop off, huh? So
yeah, I'll close it off. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming up. Anytime you want to come back up, we'll be here. We try to do this every Friday. And are you subscribed?
I am. That's how I just rarely get a chance to watch you guys live. So
I was about to shame you. Like, go subscribe.
No, I am definitely. I subscribed to you months ago. I think when you first started or something, you just came in. You just you were just like in a room or something, and you were just like, man, y'all need to hear this stuff, and you were just so amped. I was like, yeah, let's go. I don't know where he's headed, but let's go. I don't know where he's going, but we'll go.
I don't know.
I'll go with him.
Sometimes I just cut the camera and I'm walking in the park. I'm walking in the park like, hey man, this is going on, y'all.
Yeah.
So I just turn the camera on sometimes, so you might get some randomness. Just hop in the comments and be like, hey, make a point here. Yeah.
Hey,
but you're welcome back.
I got a book for you. Hold on, I got a book for you. It's called Battle Cry: Waging the War Within by Jason Wilson.
Battle Cry.
Yeah, that was a book I was interested in because he's first of all, he's a black man, but he talks about some of the toxic beliefs and behaviors that we have taken on from other people and why we should be confronting them. Because I like when Jerry brought that up about being a useful idiot. I started to understand that probably some years ago, but more recently making those connections. And he talks a lot about that and a lot about how not only just black men, but men in general don't know how to communicate. And we don't know how to express ourselves in a way that doesn't come off as aggressive. So it's a good read. I like it. He's got another one, but I don't remember what the other one was called. But yeah,
I'll check that out. But before we go, because we are at 2 hours and 57 minutes, I want to hit the 3 hour mark so that we can say we did our first 3 hour.
This guy.
First 3 hour pod. So if you guys have any final words, any takeaways that you would want people watching to know, what would those be? Final words.
I'll end with my favorite quote. It's from a poet named William Blake. He says, "All that you behold, though it appears without, it is within your own wonderful human imagination, in which this world of mortality is but a shadow." I'll leave it there.
Who is that by?
William Blake.
William Blake. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's deep. What about you, Ty?
Respect all things placed upon this earth, whether people, things, animals, or plants.
All right, and I'll close it out. We all have two lives. Our second one begins when we realize we only have one. That was and
who said that?
It was. I think it was from like a proverb or something, like a Chinese proverb, or
I think I've seen that before. Yeah.
Proverb. But yeah, it was like we all have two lives. Our second one begins when we realize we only have one.
Yeah,
and you know, I've tried to live by that since I heard that. So that being said, I want to thank you, gentlemen, for your time tonight. We're 20 seconds away from first 3 hour podcast. Y'all hung in there. Y'all did your thing. And I ain't got money to compensate nobody. You know, capitalism ain't working like that.
It's because you're a Marxist. It's because you're a Marxist. Actually, Marxists are hella rich. Marxists love money.
If I get a big enough check, I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist. I just like to throw around ideas and not stick too hard to any label. But we hit that 3 hour mark. Appreciate y'all's time. And we'll see y'all next time for the people watching at home. Have a good night, Jerry.
Peace.
Good night.
Peace.